Good evening and welcome to the Minions of the Zoo Saturday edition. I'm your host and keeper of the Harry Channel, and with me tonight are minions Sora Luna.
Hello.
SkepTok.
Hi, everybody.
DrFunctional.
Oh.
Serenity Star 13.
Hello.
Excellent. And
A mouthful of nuts.
for better or worse,
Giggity.
D's nuts. For better or worse,
I hope not.
my
You have to buy me dinner.
I actually have my voice back.
Yay.
Yay! Yay! It's all good. Everything's fine. No, I can tell this is going to be one of those colds that just sort of lingers for a long time, where I'm going to just be like, ugh, for like a few weeks, but it's fine.
Pretty convinced you gave it to me through the internet somehow.
Yeah. Well, you know, before modern science, if you didn't, basically the two things that would kill you other than war were, what was it? Basically, you'd either crap yourself to death or your lungs would fill up. You know, that was like your two big causes of death and childbirth.
Which is just translate to sickness. That's all it is. Just translate to sickness.
I have consumption, you know. That was what that was.
wait,
that was TB, right?
You're saying that all the arsenic we put in
consumption
everything
is tuberculosis. Eric.
the arsenic we put in everything to get that specific green color is killing us? Shocker!
Yeah.
That was fun to learn about.
Yeah. Good times. Yeah, just have some mercury face powder too. You know, because
No, lead. It was also
lead
face powder too.
Yeah.
yeah. See, mercury would be if you wanted to make your face yellowish orange. I forget.
It depends on the part of the world, because lead was used predominantly by the East. I think mercury-based was predominantly used by the West, because they had a lot of babies that used to die in East Asia because the mothers wore face powder.
Right.
Because being pale was the big thing, and then the babies would get close and they just die from that way.
And then we started giving babies thalidomide.
Yay.
No, thalidomide's before.
Okay.
Thalidomide was something they got in the womb. That was something they gave to the mother to
was
fight
mothers.
morning sickness, wasn't it?
babies in the womb.
Right. It was a morning sickness and, mood elevator kind of a thing. And
Yeah.
it's a mother's little helper. Get you through
Created
the
a
tough
new
time.
species of flipper baby.
so Skep, I was listening.
Man, those babies were so sad.
You know, I have YouTube set on just keep playing, right? So I'll play something, be listening to it, and I'm off in the room, and this YouTuber came on, and she started talking about how she used to have panic problems, right? And my hands are in the sink. I'm doing domestic stuff, and I'm like, yeah, it's not annoying enough for me to go change it. So I've got this woman talking, and she's talking about all the things she used to take. She was taking Klonopin, propanolol, which is a beta blocker. They
Right.
had her on Lyrica, gabapentin. I mean, not necessarily all at the same time.
All the cheap forms of Vomerontin. Keep going.
Not naltrexone. What was the other one? The one that they frequently give to calm down, trazodone. They had her on trazodone. And then
Sure.
she's like, I'm down to just Klonopin. And I'm like, just Klonopin?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Klonopin is actually worse than trazodone.
Yeah.
Klonopin is the worst one of that lot because it's a benzo.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a benzodiazepine.
Could-
I stumbled across a woman who's supposedly a performing pianist, and she was like, I take beta blockers, but a lot of performers are like, that's cheating. And I was like, yes, because it is.
It is, yes.
You never learn to get over your fear, so you just let it continue.
No, I'll tell you something. I knew a guy who played the English horn, which is sort of like a clarinet that wants to be an oboe. Anyway, he was trying to get on with the Houston Symphony, and they only had one chair for it. It's very, very competitive. And he had been competing for this chair for like 3 years. And I ran across this guy, and he had tried everything, every kind of psychiatry, psychology, every kind of drug, and the only thing that helped him was beta blockers, and could calm him down enough to where he could, play through these extremely tense tryout sessions.
And you don't need a lot. It's like snipers.
Oh, no,
and,
yeah.
I mean, just a couple milligrams. You don't, and certainly no more than 10. You would take a really low dose.
You take 1/4 with propranolol, which is called Inderal. It's branded as Inderal. You take 1/4 of the initial hypertensive dose. So when you give that drug for hypertension, you usually give it about 4 times as much as you give it to these guys who are, taking a quarter of a tablet.
Yeah. And all it does is just tamp down your adrenaline. That's all it does, just a little bit. And it's just enough, like if you're a professional pool player or a dart player or a military sniper, it's a performance enhancing thing.
They give it to snipers. They absolutely give it to snipers.
Yeah.
And that's cheating too.
Well, I mean, that's my thing is like, if you never learn how to deal with it, because I get anxious when I have to perform stuff too, but it's like, I know that it will go away because I've been through it enough. So it's one of those things, it's like, snipers, I kind of understand because in that moment it's a life and death thing. That I completely understand to a point. But it's like, what happens if you're a concert English horn player and you never learn to get past it and then you can't get them? And you have to perform for, say, like, the Crown, whoever's in control in England or whatever. Like, what happens then? Do you just go, oh, I'm sorry, I'm too anxious, and then just fuck over the entire orchestra?
No, your confidence goes up.
I got to tell you that he finally did get on with them and was in that chair for 3 years.
That's good. Congrats for him.
No, but if you do it right the first time, your confidence goes up and you don't necessarily need the stuff long term. Sometimes just a little something to get you past the anxiety gets you over that hump.
This guy was snake bit for having been turned down so many times. That was the problem.
Well, it's like, and if it's a 1 or 2 times to like get over the initial hump, that makes perfect sense to me. But this girl, she has been doing beta blockers every single time she performs for 3 years.
No, she's looking for a crutch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
I agree
when
with
it's
you
that
there,
level,
you're absolutely
that's
right.
when I have a problem with it.
I think you're right on the money.
Well, anyway,
that's what we in the industry call addiction.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shall we return to structure? Hi, Skep.
How you doing, Harry?
I'm tired. I've been working on a project all week, and I have 194 billable hours available for February, and I'm going to use every single one of them. And so it's been a very long last few days.
194 hours in 1 month.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been working on a lot of just for the nerds in the crowd there, I've been working on a thing called Open vSwitch primarily. And I'm trying to leverage it as part of some fancy private cloud networking. But that's not interesting to anybody but me and maybe Skep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's kind of fun that essentially you can take like physical networks and put all this virtual plumbing on top of them. And
I know, I love that, and it's seamless.
Yeah, it's very cool. Some of the stuff you can do.
Freaking app.
Well, like for instance, Serenity. Serenity stepped away.
Nope, I'm here.
Okay, so how I don't know if you've messed with any of the audio hijack stuff on your computer to monkey with any of the ins and outs when you guys stream. But they have these tools, right? So there's audio hijack and all these different things. And you can say, I want the output from this microphone to go here. And you can just do all this great virtual audio routing. Well, that's basically what I've been doing, except with networking.
For this.
Yeah.
I have to tell it what mic to use. And Discord, being Discord, likes to change its mind on me and go, oh, you mean you want to route the outward sound to this? And I'm like, no! Leave it alone.
Well, I finally just gave up and got a Rodecaster Duo, and so all of the routing stuff happens out in USB land, so I don't have to worry about it too much.
I'm about to turn into you a little bit. I'm about to buy a mic that needs XLR cable and a mixer board.
Okay.
I'm getting tired of shit.
Well, please talk to me before you do that, because I can point you at some resources that'll help you do your homework.
There we go.
All right. So anyway, hi, Serenity. Anything new from you?
That good, huh?
Not like right now. I'm dealing with an older dog, Nisha, who's the little tiny gray runt one, who just because the temperature keeps changing, it's screwing with her hips, her back hips.
Oh. She got the dysplasia problems.
No, she doesn't have dysplasia. It's just she's a schnauzer, and she was a puppy mill doggy, as in she was the one giving birth. And I told the story before. This was years ago, but they bred her with a lab, and she's like 6 inches. Like she's like 6 inches off the ground. She's got little legs, and somehow she gave birth to 2 puppies. Considering how tiny she is, because she's probably the small side of a standard schnauzer, because that's what she is. But the puppy mill and stuff like that, and then we had to rip out almost all of her teeth because they let her teeth rot. And it was just, so she's got like one tooth left that's actually worth a damn.
People suck.
You have to be a special kind of piece of shit, subhuman filth to like do stuff like that to a dog.
Oh yeah, well the thing is, and the thing that was sad was because she went to a small town rescue, smaller than where I live, but the problem is that a lot of I call them halfway houses because that's basically what they are.
Yeah.
A lot of the foster families don't fully understand animals. So when my mom got her, they said, oh yeah, she loves pig ears. She chews on them all the time. And it was only when she went to our country vet who we use, that we found out like the reason why she was chewing on the pig's ears so much and ate all of them all the time was because of the fact that she was in pain all the time. So it was her way of processing, like trying to deal with it. And ever since we've gotten most of the teeth pulled, like I said, except for that one it's in the bottom back, she doesn't like pig ears anymore, but we can't give her anything hard because she's got no teeth. So she gets very, very soft stuff, and she's on doggy vitamins, and she's normally a rambunctious thing. I could tell because I had to give her a baby aspirin today, part of one, because she's so tiny. But I had to give her part of one a day, and I could tell she was feeling better because when I went to go let her out, she nearly ran me over, which isn't much because she barely comes above my ankle. But still, it was like you just hear down the hallway because it's a carpeted hallway, and I'm just like, the fuck! Oh god dang it!
Little fur missile.
Yeah, basically
coming barreling at you.
Because she doesn't move her forelegs independently. She bunny hops.
Yeah.
So she could, and I'm like, okay, calm down. Oh, great Bambi, chill out.
And literally, she gets the best medicine from you and your mom in love. I don't care what anybody says. Love is the primary medicine for some of these animals because they've just never had it, and once they have that, they're able to hold on and let the medication, the procedures get them through that hump to say, hey, life isn't actually so bad. And oh man, you're making me tear up about this dog.
Well, it's like Bella, the one whose picture I've shared before, we got her when she was very young, so she's never known abuse. Oscar came from, I don't want to say a good family, but they weren't an abusive family and they weren't neglectful. He wasn't the type of energy that they needed.
Right.
Several of the other dogs who I'm all not going to name because goddamn, there's a lot of dogs. They're all either were wandering strays, dogs of the closest thing I have to a neighbor who basically came and stayed, and they're like, we don't give a shit if he stays, keep him. Cats are the same way. But yeah, no, she's the one who's the most injured, I guess, because she tries to baby, because they took her puppies from her, so she never got to raise her puppies. So, and it wasn't the rescue who did it; it was the puppy mill people who did it. Because she never got to raise her puppy, she now has to baby everything. So it's funny because she's like 25 pounds at most, tiny little short thing, trying to baby. We used to have a dog named Newton who was like an Irish wolfhound, giant schnauzer mixed with it. We never don't know.
Oh my god!
She tried to baby him. She tries to baby Oscar. She tries to baby Bella. She's not around the outdoor dogs very much to baby them, but she'll kind of sniff and they just kind of let her do whatever she wants. She tries to baby the cats. It's just like, all right, darling. Most of them can, thankfully, she has enough sense because she's also a little bit blind just because she's old. She has enough sense to know not to get near the hooved things, which we were hoping to keep that the way it is. I'm paranoid about letting her stay out now though, because I can hear the coyotes in the distance.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, so she goes, the only time she goes out is if I can see the bigger outdoor dogs out there chilling, or if Bella and Oscar go with her. Those are the only times she goes out, because because she has nothing to fight back with.
No, she's got that one back tooth, right?
So she's got nothing. And Oscar's 76 pounds of just bum rush, and Belle's almost 90. They can handle whatever comes at them because the other dogs will come when they start barking, but she can't even bark. She doesn't know how to bark. As much as I hate to make this insinuation, she's like those Holocaust victims who can't cry audibly. Like she'll go through the motion. She has her vocal cords. she'll do the schnauzer like where they tilt their head all the way back and go "Brrr," that, but she doesn't make any noise.
Oh.
So she doesn't understand how to bark because she never had a chance to figure out how to bark. And Oscar and Belle don't bark like normal dogs. They bark like fighting dogs because they'll just do the so she's just, but she has a good life. I don't want anybody to think she has a bad life. She's had a good life for 10 plus years. She's good.
It's a good update from West Virginia. Mm-hmm. Okay. How about you, Sora?
Hello.
Anything new?
We excitedly had a earthquake yesterday.
It's about damn time. I've been figuring you were sort of overdue.
I have slept through, I don't know how many major earthquakes, or just didn't feel it or anything. And for the first time, I felt it roll under me. It was very exciting. It was like, depending on where you're looking, it was either a 5.1 or a 4.8 out of Seashell. And it was felt all around here. And it was hilarious because it was like around 1:30ish p.m. So I was on the phone with a patient at work, and suddenly it, like, you could feel it. It was like a wave coming right under the building, and we are having a lot of construction. Pardon me, around. So it took a second. I was looking at my coworker. I was like, "Was that an earthquake?" And then we paused a moment, and there was another patient. He quickly jumped in the middle of the in our waiting area. He's like, "What should we do?" And I was like, "Wait." I'm like, "No, aftershocks, we're fine."
By the time you figure out what to do, it's too late. If something was going to happen,
I was about to jump. I was like, my chair was pushed out. I was ready to dive under because we have really solid built-in like wraparound desks in reception. So we would have been fine. Anybody in the waiting room, though, out of luck. They'd have to like try to get into a door frame, but no. It was really cool because there have been certain major ones in the city that's happened or close by enough to rattle a lot of people, and I missed it all. So
wow, you actually did get an earthquake.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you. 4.8.
No. I mean, It was not really by us. It was in Seychelles. It's quite far away. But
that's not that far from Vancouver.
No, but for us, Seychelles, like, I'm not going there. It's too far
Okay,
away.
the fact that you don't want to drive there doesn't mean it's really all that far away. No, but a 4 point, let's see.
So, news channels were saying it was a 5.1. When I went online, like, I immediately Googled when we felt that. I just Googled earthquake Vancouver, and then it popped up from that site. Yeah, the USGS. It's popped up as a 4.8. So,
yeah,
because that was the first thing that popped up on Google.
Yeah, well,
that was exciting. Yeah. So that was Friday afternoon.
Congratulations.
That was good. And you know what's hilarious? Okay.
Yeah.
When that happened, suddenly our internet got faster. So we were very happy and thankful.
Nice.
Like, everything started loading properly, like quicker than usual. I don't know. We had zero problems we have internet phones. We had no issues the rest of the afternoon. So maybe it shook something loose in the building because we're in an old building. So I was like, oh, good.
Maybe that just realigned your Starlink receiver,
Something.
Just enough.
I was just waiting for the post-tension cables to snap because we have a problem with that in the building. So I was like, oh, let's go.
So I can't remember, did you have to replace your car or is it still with you? Because I asked you about it a few months ago. Okay, good.
It's still with me. Everything is fine with that.
Okay.
The only thing let's see, my recent things is just your regular, I just replaced one blinker and one headlight, but that's car maintenance.
Did they top off the blinker fluid for you while they were down there?
Actually, I can do that on my own, thank you.
Good.
I'm an independent woman.
I got my shit together.
Yeah, people don't realize that blinker fluid, you'll fail an inspection because the blinkers don't work. It happens. Gotta keep that stuff topped off. Good times. Hey, Functional.
Hi, I'm alive.
You're alive. Yay. You doing better?
Yeah, much. It was like you, it was just that tail end of sort of like, it just wasn't going away. Like, it was better, but it just wasn't going away. And because of the ups and downs, it really messed up with my sleep schedule. So last week I was just like, you know what? It's probably better served if I just slept instead of trying to do a show when I'm like so dead ass tired. But you know, ever since then, it's been good. I got my pillow today. I'm waiting for this thing to like fully poof up and try it because it feels so soft. I've been desperate for a good pillow for a while. And honestly, everyone from Dim Tool to what's her name, Prospero, I almost said a real name, and like everybody in between has been like, no, they're really good pillows. You should try one. I was like, okay, well, they're having a sale, 20% off. I'll pick one up.
Yeah.
Before the tariffs hit.
I have a very low tech pillow. Well, in my second gnarly bike crash of my life, I herniated some discs in my neck, which is not fun.
Yeah.
So sleeping became a bit of a challenge, and the thing that I sort of settled on were buckwheat pillows.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
so I just have just the buckwheat hulls, and I like the fact that it in a lot of ways it seems more hygienic. It doesn't seem to harbor quite so much nastiness, and you can always just put
it
new
breathe?
buckwheat hulls in it. Yeah, well enough.
That's good.
Yeah,
I basically have one of those wedges, so I can be somewhat relatively inclined because it takes a lot of the pressure off of my the 3/4 of the top of my back. It still kills my lower back, but you know, take small wins when I can get them. And then a small memory foam like curved pillow, the ergonomic pillow type thing, but it doesn't breathe because it's a solid block of foam. And it's just I've since been gravitating more to the side or even front sleeping, like on sort of an angle. So I'm not like directly on my stomach, but like angled downwards. So that takes all the pressure off of my spine, which is the big thing for me. And then in such a case, those pillows, the angled pillow and the memory foam block, is not fit for purpose for front facing or angled down sleep. So, you know, you're basically breathing into your pillow. The number one thing other than support is to have breathability. So you're not basically just huffing your own dirty ass breath all night.
Yeah, well, it's good that you have a female of the species around to keep you honest, because it's amazing the number of dudes who never got the memo that, you know, you're actually supposed to wash your sheets every week and pillows are not a lifetime purchase.
Nope.
Oh yeah. She's actually really good about the pillowcases because she does that every night, and I'm like, that's good.
Yeah,
That
pillowcases
also-
are good, but what I like to do is when it's a sunny day, I will take my pillows and just put them outside, just so they're outside in the fresh air and the sun. And anyway, enough about pillows and stuff.
The angle pillow's good. It's just it's for the sun. She's complaining because
Thank you for the pillow. Yeesh.
But when you're forward facing or angled downward, because I don't really sleep like face down like that. That's just weird. I'm gonna suffocate that way. I have to come down on the pillow so it's not like that angle, because then I'm doing the opposite of what the pillow should be doing in bending my spine backwards, which when sleeping is the ultimate, it's the biggest pain I've ever felt in my life.
Yeah, don't do that.
I like shredded memory foam for my pillows. This way it breathes, but I still get memory foam.
Yeah, that's apparently what the My Pillow is. Their secret formula is there's like the 3 different chunks.
Oh yeah.
3 different sizes. So you get like small stone size memory foam chunks, then the little pebble sizes, and then the fluff.
So it's like the climbing gym when you fall.
Yeah.
Where they have all the gym
You just
mats
can't-
torn up at the bottom of it.
You just can't wash it.
No,
with the pillow to get
it's
it.
really hard.
So you
Actually,
basically-
all gyms, anything with like a mat for martial arts is just, oh god.
It's
It's-
nasty.
okay,
nasty.
I'm starting to think about things I don't want to think about. So I actually think I can pronounce every single name here. So I'm going to greet the chat myself this time. I know. Raymond Lewis, howdy. Mike R.
Hello.
Joel McLaughlin. Let's see. Hate Camel, Mr. Yes. Let's see. We already said Raymond Lewis. Let's see.
Don't forget
Eagle.
Eagle. There you go.
Don't forget Eagle. Elowen. I think that's everybody who's been chatting. Excellent. Oh, let's see. It
Whatever
was,
lurkers are out there, because
well, yeah. I mean, it's totally fine to lurk. That's fine. So Raymond Lewis said, "It's funny how loud trains are. There isn't any in miles. and I can hear it like it's just on the next street. Yes, it is funny how low frequency vibrations will just move through pretty much everything. Now, I know I've told this story before, but when I was a little kid, my dad used to like to take his month of vacation because he was in a union. He would take a month of vacation, and we'd go gold mining and, panning, that type of thing, and using sluice boxes and dredges. And I remember the first time I spent time up in the gold country, and it was nighttime, and at about 1 a.m, like right above the campground, this train goes by, and it's like not like one of these little tiny trains. It's like 5-6 locomotives, miles long, just going over the top. And initially, at the beginning of that month, I woke up every time the train went by. At the end of that month, it was just no problem. You just sort of get completely acclimated to it, and the vibration in the earth and the noise it barely affects you. Anyway, it's kind of
we
a
have
good
a lot
memory.
of those trains that pass through Toronto, but because of the density of the buildings and the variability of the geography and a lot of the underground networks, it's very diffuse, so it's not very shaky. Like, you can still hear them off in the distance, but for us, it's when we get the big C-150 Polarises or the Hercules flying over, and that just shakes everything like it's the fucking second coming of Armageddon or something, because everything just shakes. And it's so I understand why they have to fly these things, but why do they have to fly them right through the major city of Toronto is beyond me, because they are so disruptive.
Yeah. Well, I know that up in Silicon Valley at Moffett Field, they have a big wind tunnel, a huge wind tunnel. And when they kick that thing off, it's like you can hear that all through the valley, pretty much from Stanford all the way to downtown San Jose. I mean, the thing is huge. But the real noisemaker is when the ER-2, which is the old U-2 spy plane that they use for research, when that thing takes off.
Yes.
Oh my God. It's like it'll set off car alarms miles away. It's insane.
The coolest one, and the one that'll shake your teeth out of your head.
Yeah.
Skep will know what I am talking about, because he will. I can't remember the number that comes after it. It's like Globetrotter 2 or Globetrotter 3, the gigantic.
You mean
fucking
Globemaster?
thing. Globemaster.
Yeah,
Globemaster.
Yeah, that's the other one that flies overhead.
I love that thing, because I have literally heard friends who are in
Globemaster 3?
C-17 Globemaster 3.
Yeah, the C-17 is what she's talking about.
Yeah.
It's a loud fucking aircraft.
But I have friends who were in the Air Force, and they're like, we don't even know how the F it gets off the ground.
Well, isn't
That's
the
a
C5
loud-
yet larger?
Yeah, the C5 is larger. You're usually standing farther away from a C5.
Yeah.
I have been very close to a C5. It is an impressive piece
Have you ever walked up inside one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty damn
amazing.
cool.
Yeah, I have too.
But it's like watching them
Several
take off.
Winnebagos taped together.
Because one of my
It's
friends
like
sent me
being
a
in a
video.
hangar.
Like they showed it to me, and it looks like it's not moving when it's taking off. It's just going, and it's just as slow as can be. And you're just sitting there going, "Did you pay God, Boeing? What did you do?"
The C-17 is pretty impressive, though. You don't have to go all the way to C5 to impress me. A C-17 is very impressive.
I love the buff.
C-17 is amazing.
I love the buff too.
Yep.
Like I love all those type of planes.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
What's great are the Russian death machine planes. It's like if you look at the history of Russian
the
aviation,
Antonov.
like the Antonov, it's like, man.
What's
Holy
the
shit.
one that like they couldn't, like the ejection system couldn't go through the top because that's right where the engines were, so they had to drop them out the bottom of the plane.
Yeah, tell me you have high ambitions
Yeah,
and
that
the GDP of Spain, without telling me that you do.
That plane, Serenity, was transformed into a Tupolev airliner for Aeroflot, and was responsible for the greatest single plane tragedy in Russian aviation history.
Well, that's terrifying, but
Yep.
I can see why when you have your people have to eject out the bottom.
It was just a suck-ass design plane.
I was like, because I follow a couple plane accounts, like military plane accounts on Tumblr, and they posted the picture, and it was a whole article written about it where it's like, yeah, they had to jump out the bottom. I'm like, no.
Do you remember which one it was?
I have this sinking feeling.
God, it was a while ago. I just remember the funny picture of the seats fully extended out the bottom of it. That's all I remembered of it, and I remembered it was Russian because I was like, only the Russians and the North Koreans and the Chinese would do that.
Yeah, you know how I complain
the
about
Americans have a plane where you eject out the bottom, and that's called the bone B1.
But is it?
It has 2 ejections out the bottom of the plane, if memory serves.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, we have a number of planes where not everybody gets an ejection seat.
Yeah, basically. Live? No.
You know, I'm talking like big bombing platform type things. It's like, yes, some people get ejection seats, but if you're in the ass end of the plane, sorry, no. You get nothing.
You get an egress point.
Yeah.
There's just like there's certain things depending on where you live that you kind of expect. You know, if you live next to or within earshot of, you know, an airfield or something like that, especially a military one, you kind of expect these things. I don't expect these things in the middle of like a major metropolitan city, though. Like that, I would expect, you know, trains, subways, highways, those kinds of things. Not giant Hercules aircraft flying like 100 feet above my building, shaking everything.
Well, usually
and that's why people in Toronto don't use car alarms, is because of the giant airplanes that fly overhead. So the airfield is Downsview Air Force Base. It's where I trained actually, and it's still active, and it's like dead set right in the middle of the city. At least we had the good sense to like decommission Fort York.
Well, a lot of times that's also for because down here in the States, because we have so many sporting events, especially at major football fields.
Yeah,
they do training, and they'll do like they will take the giant. I know they've taken C-17s a couple times over a few stadiums, and they do it for training because that's the only time you can really like get your pilot hours in a major city and learn how the air works.
we have like major airports and places to launch from just outside the GTA, which is fine. We even have the downtown island airport, which is also fine, where we'll have like the air shows and stuff that they'll launch off of that those airstrips. But right here, it's where the paratroopers train. Again,
that'll do it too.
They launch from Downsview, which is the middle of the city of Toronto, like almost dead smack in the middle of the city. And that's where they launch the big jets from, so that they can train the paratroopers. So they'll fly north to like middle Ontario to the big empty training fields, and that's where they'll paradrop from. Nice. It was really fun because the one time I did that, we went all the way up to like Sarnia, like 2/3 up the way of Ontario. And if you know how Canada is sort of like, we're just giant strips of land that go all the way up, right? Mm-hmm. So you go pretty far north, and you just like dive into like nothingness. It's like just wilderness for hundreds and hundreds of kilometers. It was insanely crazy.
Nice.
All right. Well, we need to get to the to the spreadsheet.
Talk about trains now.
Any Pee-wee's Playhouse fans out there?
Oh hell yeah, I love Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Well, unfortunately,
as a child,
we lost another groundling.
Aww.
The lady who played Miss Yvonne passed away. And she did like a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, she was there, Miss Yvonne. She was the prettiest girl in Puppet Land or something. Yeah. But I mean, at this rate, we're losing groundlings at a pretty good clip between Phil Hartman, Miss Yvonne, and Paul Rubens. Not so good. But she had a really good. Cassandra Peterson, aka Elvira, Mistress of the Night, basically put out an announcement for her because I guess they were good friends. And so we lost her. So if nothing else, when stuff like this happens, it's kind of fun to go back and tickle the member berries and watch some clips of stuff. I didn't actually see much of Pee-wee's Playhouse because I'm just enough older than you that I was doing other things when that was around.
Yeah, Pee-wee's Playhouse was my childhood. Exactly.
So anyway, sorry, Miss Yvonne. Let's see, but we still have Cowboy. What's his name? Who was Lawrence Fishburne's character?
Yeah.
Cowboy something.
Oh, Cowboy Rick or something like that.
Cowboy Clark. Cowboy D's Nuts. I forget what his character's name was.
Cowboy Curtis.
Cowboy Curtis.
What?
Yeah. So don't die, Lawrence Fishburne, please.
Live for a bit longer.
So this is just sort of schadenfreude here, just a little bit. San Francisco tech startup that raised $230 million shuts down after horrendous reviews. So this is a little badge thing that was supposed to do all sorts of great AI things. And you could wear it like your Star Trek communicator. So you could just go, hey, Majel Barrett, what's the weather going to be like? And then it would, be helpful. Turns out it was a terrible, terrible product. And they took all $230 million and just sort of flushed it down the tubes.
That's what happens.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, ideas are fine, but if you can't actually produce a good product, eventually the fundamentals just catch up with you.
Yep.
The number one fundamental is sometimes you can have a really good idea, it's just not time yet. And timing an idea sometimes is more difficult than coming up with the idea. There are lots of good ideas in the world. That doesn't mean that now's the time to act on them. You sometimes have to wait for either attitudes or technology to catch up to where you want to go. I know about this from experience because I pitched a whole bunch of ideas that were well ahead of their time back in the 90s, and it's just like, yeah, you got to get the timing right or it isn't going to work. So I'm enjoying watching these people fail. And they had a whole bunch of luminaries involved in it. So the startup was in 2023 an archetype of Silicon Valley buzz. OpenAI's Sam Altman and Salesforce's Mark Benioff both invested in it.
Oh, my.
Taking better men to
couldn't happen to a nice
Yeah. The pin had a camera and responded to verbal questions like a leveled up Siri. Hype built quickly. There was a TED Talk and an exciting New York Times demo. Naomi Campbell wore one of the pins while walking a Paris Fashion Week runway. The information reported that investors had valued Humane at $850 million. But the company's sleek launch video in November 2023 featured multiple bizarre mistakes by the device. SFGate reported at the time, and when the pen reached reviewers' hands, the tide quickly turned on Humane, name of the company. In fact, the New York Times reported in June that Humane's founders warned employees to brace themselves when reviews came out in April.
It's
And
not
this,
good.
ladies and gentlemen, is the reason why we have to remember that just because something has been projected to be worth something does not mean it actually has that worth.
Yeah. Marquise Brownlee put out a video talking about it titled "The Worst Product I've Ever Reviewed for Now." Yeah, I don't think they did much to win the influencers over on this particular one.
Well, it's like the influence. I remember one influencer, like literally, if he tried to do anything with it, it would just click out. Like it wouldn't respond. And this was one that was sent out by the company itself. And it just wouldn't like go. And I'm just sitting there going, well, that's what you get.
So are you folks familiar with this nonsense about the Snoopers Charter in the UK that they've been pushing for years and years?
Fracking clue. I have no
Okay,
idea.
so basically the UK doesn't seem to matter who's in charge. They just love being fascists about privacy and things like that. Insult a politician, Germany, England, they're all just terrible. I mean, it's inconceivable from my American perspective why anybody would put up with this crap. But Apple pulls data protection tool after UK government security row. So what the UK government wanted Apple to do was put a back door into the encryption that's used for backups from your phones. So right now with this, I think it's called APD, I believe, it lets you, when you back up your phone, encrypt it in such a way that nobody, including Apple, has access to the data that gets backed up into the cloud. It's point to point with no middleman, no broker in the middle. Okay.
It should be.
But the UK government wanted them to disable that and not just give them access to that, but give it access to people all over the world. They wanted access to this thing. And Apple told them, fine, we will just disable it for people in the UK. So go pound sand. And there's security people, or I guess more consumer privacy people saying that's the wrong thing to do. Why? Apple should have to fight with your stupid government? No. No. The UK, the people who live in the UK can rise up and deal with their own government. It is not Apple's problem or our problem to deal with the fact that they're being stupid. I'm just happy to be in America where I don't have to deal with this kind of stuff, at least not on this kind of level. This is This is almost like Bill Clinton talking about the Clipper chip. Remember that piece of crap that they were talking about? Yeah. You cannot put a backdoor into a security thing without it making it more vulnerable. There's no way to leave the key under the mat and not expect that nobody's going to ever, that nobody's ever going to find it. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, as soon as you do that, you have permanently compromised the security of that system. You cannot make that system secure.
Yeah.
What's like I remember after J.D. Vance's speech to Europe about them not having freedom of speech and stuff like that, the coping on British Instagram was just like, yes, we do. You just can't be an arsehole about it. And I'm just like, okay, freedom of speech is protect the speech you hate, not the speech you like, dumb fuck. That's how it works. If you can't handle that, that's on you, but you don't understand what it actually means there, sugar tits.
You can't handle the speech.
Yeah.
So, Serenity, you know how illustrate how fundamental the difference is between American thought and UK thought.
Oh, yeah.
So they believe that Parliament cannot pass a law which binds future parliaments. And to us, in a constitutional republic, it's like, say what? Our whole thing is built on the idea that the government has limited power, but by the English, the UK frame of mind, that such a thing is inconceivable. There's no way you can pass a law that binds the future. They figure that Parliament should be able to do whatever the hell it wants as long as they agree on it. That's basically their principle, and it's wrong.
I remember this was a while ago in Harry streams, but I think it was Functional who corrected me about can't the monarchy can dissolve Parliament, can't they?
The Governor General of Canada is our version of that. It's the representative of the Crown on Canadian soil that says, you know what? No, Parliament dissolved. You're not fit for purpose. It's an emergency action.
Yeah,
and they have the same thing.
It's dissolved by the Crown, is it not?
Yeah, because they're the representative of the Crown on Canadian soil,
right?
Which is ironic because right now we have this lesbian Native American woman who, how do you represent the Crown again? I thought you guys rejected the. Anyway,
she's a tutor.
And in England proper, yes, the Crown, King, Queen, whatever, they're the ones who say, yeah, no, dissolve Parliament right now, and they get it done.
That's the only thing. And I'm not making an excuse for England believing the whole you can't bind Parliament, but maybe that's the reason why they convince themselves that you can't, because if it's really that bad, the Queen or King will do it. Now we have a king.
Yes.
Now they have a king. Those poor human beings, because that man. But it's maybe that's the reason why they convince themselves that that it's okay, which is a stupid thing, because that as we've seen.
Since 1776. Yeah, I mean, they're too busy huffing their own farts, thinking that they're better than everybody else, to realize, well, no, your system is actually kind of broken, and that's why the whole America thing happened to begin with, is because you wanted to be tyrannical dictators, and they were like, well, no, all men are created equal, so let's let men be equal. We don't accept kings here, and it's somewhat of the passiveness of Canadians who were like, they've got a point, but we've got our own little plot of land here. How about you guys stay over the fuck over there? We'll stay over here. You can have your little Governor General, but we'll rule this land here as our own. And they were like, yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Which it's just that's the only thing that kind of I could see.
Help us.
I can't do anything for you. But it's just that's the only thing that if you're really passive, I could see that being if you knew that about your own government and knew that it could be dissolved, air quotes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if I'm remembering vaguely, Functional even said in that same sentence when he was describing it years ago, he was but that's seen as a big deal, and to do it will probably get that monarch, that person, that in small terms, that individual monarch kicked, or it'll have the entirety of the people possibly rise up against the monarchy. And
depending on the circumstance, it really could turn against the monarchy in that sense. But I mean, you have to look at England is a conquered nation now. They have been for a while. It's only just been recently that they've been so overt about it that they're just kind of the people are literally in the streets trying to fight back, but they have no weapons. They have no knives. They've made knives illegal. You know, they have nothing to fight back with. And over the years, it was a great pride point for them to say, well, our police officers don't need guns. And you know what? They now run around with semi-automatic SMGs and TAC teams with fully automatic rifles, not because they're being invaded by these people. It's because they don't want an uprising, and they know staring down the barrel of a gun really saps somebody's courage.
But yeah, it's like that's the only thing I can figure. But like, yeah, backdoor and like Apple's stood against the American government when it comes to this crap. I don't know why the UK government thought they were going to be any different.
Yeah, and this is actually a POB for Apple.
Yeah, like they did it last time. I think they've done it both once with the FBI and once with the CIA.
Well,
No,
Apple-
they tried with the Boston bombers, and Apple
Yeah.
said, "Go screw."
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like our people who were part of our governmental bodies, in a sense, had tried it and they told to fuck off. And that's what I'm saying. Like they told the American letter agencies to go F themselves. What makes you think they're not going to tell you to go F yourself in a sense?
And honestly,
It's
that's not
funny
just a principle thing. It's good business. And
Well,
the reason
yeah.
it's good business is because the people in this country believe that privacy and security are things that are valuable.
Yeah.
And because consumers want it, Apple's doing it. I don't think that Apple is this paragon of virtue, but I think they understand what's important to their customers. And I appreciate the fact that they stand up to governments when these types of things come along. But shall we?
It also
As long as
helps
it's
in
economically-
East Asia because in East Asia, specifically Japan and Korea,
Mm-hmm.
are also big privacy countries. Like they like want the privacy, especially Japan. So and Apple's been trying to get a foothold in those two countries for years. But yeah, sorry, Harry.
Can we
you were
make
about to
fun of
segue.
another former English colony? Well,
Go
can we
for
talk
it.
about Australia? Because I talked about Australia.
Oh, God.
What was it last week?
Australia doesn't exist.
I was
Come
mentioning
on.
that I think the Australian accent is really terrible.
No.
Yeah, it's just the worst. But before we talk about that, hey Sora, do you like spiders?
Shit.
Depends on the spider.
Okay, so they found a variant of the funnel web spider
Shit.
that's like twice the size of it.
Oh, come on!
So
Why
it's-
is
big
it wearing
guy.
latex?
yeah, so they've
It's a gimp
called
spider.
they've called this spider. They gave it a really great name. They called it the Newcastle Big Boy.
Yeah, he is a big boy, ain't he,
He's
buddy?
twice as big as the regular
Wait,
regular
Go
one.
back
So
up. It says how big he is. Go back up.
it's like 4 inches long.
What?
Okay, so Sydney funnel web spiders, shemp, are glossy black in color and grow to 1.5 inches, 3.8 centimeters long. Okay, that's the regular one.
Okay, that's the regular one.
That's
okay.
the regular one. So the new
Hello,
one,
handsome.
I thought worked out to about 4 inches, almost 4 inches.
I saw the word 13 up.
Here we are. Okay.
There it is,
Here.
3.5.
Dead yet?
Shemp was named for Kane Christensen, former head of spiders at the Australian Reptile Park, who first described it in the early 2000s and gave the spider the nickname Big Boys. These funnel web spiders are the largest of the 3 species, growing up to 3.5 inches long.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
You
Yeah.
know, every day I bring down Australia and lower on the list of places I want to visit, you know?
Yeah.
Just
You know,
For
just
no
the
reason.
just the shoreline in Australia is terrifying. They have like these little jellyfish that are they're like box shaped and they're about a centimeter on each side, and those things will just kill you in like minutes if they sting
Enough
you.
venom to stop.
And
the heart.
then once you get onto the shore, just beneath the sand, there's all sorts of little critters that are dangerous. That if you step on them, you can die.
little
mean-
tube things that are like fat worms that like
Those
things-
blue things. Oh god, it's just the
so
worst.
nasty looking.
It's just the worst.
Don't ever come down to West Virginia again, functional, because we have like 90 different species of spiders down here.
But remember
Yeah, and
last
I'm a
They
complete
have there's those
arachnophobe.
cute different spiders. You have like the ones that like shake maracas and stuff
Mhm.
that are so cute.
I love
and-
the fishing. Down here we have fishing spiders.
Mhm.
I love fishing spiders. They're so cute.
I don't mind tarantulas. I like them.
I
They're
don't know, yeah.
fuzzy. They're friendly looking.
They're
You
also
know.
not super venomous. They won't just kill you in minutes, you know.
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah,
funnel
and
web,
the
it takes what? It's like a
one-
half an hour, 15 minutes, and you're dead if you don't get the
The little
antitoxin.
jumping spiders.
Yep, the
There's
jumping
like
spider.
there's this one girl on YouTube who like made friends with one,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently they start recognizing you, and they're more friendly to certain people.
That
And
sounds
so
great.
it's like it's not like the most cuddly pet. They are friendly, and they'll come up to you and like sit in your hand. Like that's adorable, and they're tiny. They're very cute spiders.
My favorite are the harvestmen.
Ugh.
Other people call them daddy long legs, but I love harvestmen.
Oh yeah,
They're
I
not
know
even
those.
real
They're nice
spiders.
too. I like.
Uh,
those.
Serenity, we have those fishing spiders up here. We just call them dock spiders. Those
Yeah.
are terrifying because they're
I love
large,
them.
but they're
love
they're
them.
really benign. They don't bother you at all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a camel spider once.
Ugh.
That's the story. Like I saw it once, and I no
It just
no
ran away the other way.
no. A friend of mine,
It's the
when
other
we were
white meat.
teenagers, had a pet tarantula. Never went back to his house again. I'm truly and irrationally so an arachnophobe, and
yeah.
like
Yeah.
I can't even remove spiders from my house because well, first of all, they're useful. They kill worse bugs, and second of all, I'm not going to go near it. Like I've gotten better over the years, but there were times where it's like, oh, I saw one in the bathroom. Well, it looks like I'm not taking a shit for the next 2 weeks, kind of thing. Like just not going in the bathroom for weeks at a time.
Oh yeah. No, we have
That's
my mom.
that's where I keep my spiders. So I don't like them
Yeah.
in my bedroom. But if they're in my bathroom, that's fine. They can live there. At one point I had 4 living their best life, and I have a window that's constantly open, so they can
Yeah.
get in and out no problem. So the way I see it, and then they'll leave, and I never have dead bodies anywhere. So I'm assuming they're just left, or they ate each other, or whatever. But I have no problems with them. They can live there. They're my buddies. Sometimes
Yeah,
they'll
if they
come
want to
in
sit in the
distant.
corners of
Okay.
the ceilings or behind the stove and kill all the little nasty guys over there, like
They-
that's fine
they
by
like,
me. Don't come near my
showers.
desk.
Okay, Sora, I'm going to
What's
show
that?
you a picture. And I think I've shown this
No.
to you before. This is a spider that was
Yeah, functional.
in
Don't look.
in my bathroom in 2010. Okay, and I took a picture of it because I basically put a sweatshirt out that I was going to climb into after I dried off and stuff. And I had it hanging over there. And then I go back in to the bathroom to take a shower, and I'm confronted with this.
Hi, buddy.
Oh, that's a big
Aw.
boy.
That unfortunately, luckily, I think that's just an orb weaver, so he's not
Yeah.
particularly dangerous. But I may have made a noise involuntarily.
Well, yeah, because it's shocking.
Yeah, I
'cause you
would've
don't
made a
expect.
noise.
Yeah, I would have made a noise too. I love spiders, but I still would have made a noise.
Yeah. I have that under the tag
That's
spider.
your new girlfriend. It's
Yeah.
stole your hoodie.
There you go.
That's creepy.
Yeah, it
What
is,
is
isn't
that
it?
Australian horror spider that attacks people?
I have no idea what this is, but it's just some vintage, terrible. I don't know. It's
It's a
disturbing.
Valentine's card. It looks like.
It
Yeah.
is. It is.
My Valentine.
But
I'm
okay,
not
but while
type-
we're
I'm
complaining
not
about
typing horror
Australia,
spider. I'm not typing horror.
I last week mentioned Australian accent terrible, and it's even particularly bad when it's women. And then I stumbled across this short when
Oh,
I was
God.
doom scrolling.
Oh boy.
Your brand is the heartbeat of your NDIS business. Here's how to make it unforgettable. A strong brand isn't just about a logo or a tag.
What a lovely,
just-
what a lovely accent.
It just feels like she has like a cork in the back of her mouth or something like that because it just feels like her mouth's
both
open.
I'm
too
sure
much.
she's a lovely human being with many
Yeah.
fine characteristics, but that accent is rough.
I'd like to know where she's from because that sounds like people
Sydney.
that I've heard who come from Darwin. What Darwin? I mean, you can't even understand me.
It's such a strong
She's
accent.
got that.
God, we're
She's
judgmental
got that.
assholes. Jesus.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm saying, my American ear is not attuned to that accent. Those
I
people
know.
have just as much trouble understanding me.
Oh yeah.
Can
If I
you
go
play it
full
a,
hick. if
play
I
her
go
a little
full-
bit more?
Sure.
Tagline. It's about the experience you create for your clients and the reputation you
Brisbane.
build in the industry. Every interaction,
Guarantee it's
service,
closer to
and
Brisbane than it
decision
is
you
Sydney.
make shapes how
Bobby.
I mean, I'm serious. I'm sure she has many fine qualities, and
Sure,
it's
yeah,
really
yeah.
just my problem that her accent drives me
Oh,
crazy.
same. I have the
okay?
same problem. Oh, and I think Skep, it's the huntsman spider because those are the big bastards that will leap at you.
Yeah, huntsman spider. That's
Yeah.
it.
They're
That's
the
one.
ones that leave those giant, thick, thick, like impassable webs.
Drop
Right.
bears, jellyfish.
That, like in
Ear.
barns, you'll see them. It'll
Crocodiles.
just be this big white patch, and you're like, yeah, there's a huntsman nest in there. I'm not going anywhere near that thing.
I can just hear Functional's like adrenaline pumping.
Oh, I'm shaking. Spiders again, and I know that most of them will not bother me, especially in my location. But even in the world, most of them will not bother me. The ones I do know, I do have to be wary of. I know exactly what their behavior is and blah blah blah. But the fact that I know that most of them are not going to bother me in the slightest, or even bite me or anything, that's what makes it a phobia. Is it's just so irrational.
Well,
I can
yeah.
study them all I want. I'm still just I turn into a bubbling pile of girly goo.
Well,
Not that girly, I shouldn't say that, but
Yeah, you're
like
fine, but-
goo, like terrified goo, when I've gone face to face with bears and wolves and fucking rattlesnakes and shit.
well, you
Those
just,
things, like, that was a different kind of adrenaline of like,
Yeah.
okay, fight or flight kind of moments, but remained rational. When I see even just a common house spider, the rationality goes out the window and goes on vacation for 2 days.
Well, that's they've actually done studies on arachnophobes' brains, and it shows that to you it looks bigger than what it actually is. Because I have 2 friends who are arachnophobes too. Like I've had to remove spiders from car doors because I have a friend who refuses to get in the car if the spider's on the car door. But
Yeah.
they've shown that you will like legitimately your brain processes it as them being bigger.
And
So-
because their body shapes are so alien,
Yeah, that too. Like everything to you just seems wrong.
wrong, exactly.
Yeah, and that's just how arachnophobes like brain. That's how every person with an actual legit phobia is.
Phobia, yeah. Their
It's just
brains
your brain
cannot
just-
handle it. And
'Cause
I've done the thing where I've studied and read up on them and tried to learn more to defeat the phobia. It doesn't work.
Nope.
Your
Nope.
brain just does not want to cooperate.
Your brain's telling
Well,
you
mine
fuck you. That's what it is.
Yeah, basically.
But that's
Which
that's
is why
what
when
it
somebody
is.
says they have a phobia of something, I'm like, it helps me suss out, okay, is this just a dislike or do you have an actual irrational phobia that like terrifies you and debilitates you? And in which case, I'm sorry, because I know exactly what that feels like. It sucks.
Yeah, it's the reason why it's like you have to differentiate between anxiety, where it's just like
Ooh, I don't like
right,
this.
to actual phobia because it's
Like, flee, run for the hills.
Hey,
it's
Scap,
like
you know what helps with anxiety?
oh Jesus,
What's that?
clonazepam.
Clonazepam. Benzos are great.
Klonopin? Is that what
Klonopin, yeah. Klonopin helps.
Clonazepam.
Well, lorazepam. Or,
Lorazepam's one, yeah.
Lorazepam is actually pretty great. I mean, it's got just the right duration of effect.
yeah, it's Xanax.
Xanax is too short.
yeah, but
that Xanny.
lorazepam also has some. It's less addictive even than Xanax.
Yeah, I've actually taken lorazepam. I mean, briefly and in small amounts, but
Sure.
it's a very effective drug for times
I've
when you
smoked
need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez. They gave it to me once because I was having a bad
God.
like muscle thing and they needed to calm me down first before they could treat the spasms. That was great. It was just like,
They give it to you before you have eye surgery.
Oh
They
yeah.
give it
They'd
me.
have
they
to
get,
for
they
me.
give that to me
If I-
before they cut my eye open with
No.
a blade.
Yeah.
Nope,
So you
nope,
don't care quite so much about what's going to
I'm
happen.
right there with you, Serenity.
Nope.
I tried watching my brother do surgeries. Like I've watched him do all sorts of bone surgeries and this surgery. But when he showed me the eye, I was like, nope,
Nope,
not doing
nope.
it.
Nope.
Do you
Nope,
want to know
well-
what he said as he put the keratome to my cornea and began
Well.
to cut? He said, "Remember, we talked about this. You're going to feel some pressure, and it feels like it's like your eye is being
Nope.
cut like a piece of roast beef."
Oh,
Yeah.
And he flips it back, and you go blind. All you can see is this red dot, and that's an actual laser coming in and working on your cornea.
You know, they don't
It's
have to
so
use
cool, but
the
it's still
keratome.
terrifying.
They don't have to use the keratome now. They have a way to do it with the laser where the focus is
Well, no.
below the surface.
Yeah. I the bubbling thing. You have to wait for 20 minutes. It slows down the patient's. You know, there's good and bad things both ways with
Yeah.
that. There's actually some advantages.
Just saying lasers are cool. That's
I
all.
have
Yeah,
a
but
mute
lasers, the laser thing is really cool. that somebody developed that technique. That's an amazingly artistic technique.
Yeah.
I have a mute button. I muted you the minute he said you're gonna feel nope. I muted
Spiders
you.
and eye surgery and Australians. Can we have a palate cleanser?
Oh my!
Oh yeah, we can have a
please.
palate cleanser. Sure. Let's see.
But let me
attacked
tell
already.
you what the cool part was when you flipped it back over
Be
after
nice.
the procedure was done. I could read the equipment plate on the side of the laser without glasses, and I had been almost legally blind in that eye before he did that.
Did you go RK or radial keratotomy?
No, this is a more advanced procedure than that. This
Yeah, RK is
like,
pretty primitive.
Yeah, this is I forget what the exact procedure is called, but it was one of the first really effective astigmatism correction.
Well, you know, they discovered
protocol.
they discovered the basic technique by accident.
Yeah.
Somebody essentially got a bunch of broken glass in their eye and cut it up, and when it healed up, his vision was improved
Was better.
And they go, wait a second, what if we did this on purpose and correctly?
Yeah, and that was
Yeah, 'cause that's
the Russians worked on that.
Yeah, it was a Russian guy who it first happened to. Yeah.
Right.
Thing is, I should just crush up a bunch of
No,
glass
no,
and shove it into my
no,
eye
mm-mm.
sockets.
No.
Again,
Don't do that.
No,
Don't do
no,
that.
no.
Yeah.
I've had that happen in the kitchen a few times.
If you get a billion years with a billion ophthalmologists with a billion keratomes,
Right. Exactly.
you'll get Shakespeare.
A billion chimpanzees with a billion.
Okay, but you asked for a palate cleanser, right?
Do it.
Please.
Please.
Let's see if this loads. Okay, so this is Johan Alexanderson. Goes under Jalex is his handle, and he has all these cool Lego sets that he's put together.
What? That's
And
crazy.
It is actually crazy, but I mean, I like the Christmas at the Office in early, 19? Come on, load, you piece of shit. Of course, it's
80s.
not going to load. Yeah, so he's put together some amazing, like mundane office place things and sci-fi things, and
so cool.
it's so cool. Look at that, Skep.
That's outstanding.
That is outstanding.
I love
I've
that.
worked in places that looked like that.
Yeah,
Just
except
like
not
that.
Lego.
Not Lego, but
I got to say,
Man,
this is
so crazy.
this
That's
is
what it
some
looks like.
weaponized autism, is what this is. This is
that
great.
is
Yeah.
really weaponized autism. Very definitely.
Damn.
Look at that.
Like this is, oh man, you know how much I love
Yeah.
miniature stuff.
I know you asked for a
Yeah.
palate cleanser,
Oh.
and that's why I'm giving you this. Because
But he's so like
Oh, I
detailed.
like
Like
that
his
one.
backgrounds are even detailed. Like
E.T. go home.
this guy's a real artist.
Yeah.
He's a very impressive.
Ooh, exactly.
That's a pingu.
That is great.
awesome.
It's like the Lego stop motion guys who do the food cutting stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like those.
I like everything about this this guy's stuff. This is pretty
nice.
cool.
This is good.
This is very cool. I like this.
Oh, different motor buy.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's just a lot of stuff here.
Oh my
the,
god!
yeah,
It's a little battle.
yeah, that's pretty sweet.
You said it's so mundane, but like the amount of work and detail he puts into it is just like even down to like the little missing chips in the tile.
Yeah,
It's just like mwah, so perfect.
yeah, it is really fantastic. So yeah, so this guy's
Johan Alexander.
yeah,
Jalex.
JALEX. Just search for that in Lego, and you should get what you're looking for.
Yeah, this is Lego.
This is some
Probably-
top tier stuff that he's done here.
Probably the only person
yeah.
keeping Flickr alive.
Yeah,
He's on Instagram too. I just found him.
I would assume so, but
He made
still.
a little. Oh man,
This
Is
stuff
Flickr still in?
this is so
yeah,
good.
Flickr's still a
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Nice.
It's
This
amazing.
is very cool.
Graffiti
I like
world.
this quite a bit. Anyway, so that's a palate cleanser.
Yeah,
Also,
I feel cleansed.
I
nice
have this. I have this listed under Germans are not fun. Weather in Greece.
Westen kommt von der Nordsee her in dieser kühlen Luft.
Small contrast between Greece. I mean, because we're all used to the Mexican weather girls. We're all used to the
Germany.
Mexican weather girls, but the
I, for one, appreciate the Germans a lot more.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's too much. First thing in the
Deutsch.
morning,
Yeah.
I would get murderous if that
I-
was.
Like,
yeah,
I don't want to
yeah,
hear you
but-
sing and dance.
Shouting
Tell me
at me.
whether I'm going to get snowed.
I don't want dancing
Well, it's
girls.
the Mediterranean. They never snow.
Yeah,
I know,
you get
but
close
that's
to
what
the
I'm-
equator, and it's just like discretion is
It's
just gone.
paradise. It's
Yeah.
I mean,
They just have migrants show up. I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
was it
did I say that
Pericles that
loud?
basically said Greece is paradise?
Yeah,
Sounds about right.
yeah.
So I can understand why they have that sort of like, but you're right. I mean, me as or us as Americanized people, Western people, like we look at this and we go, no, like not even Skep would be like, no, dude, just is it gonna freeze over, or is it gonna be so hot that like the devil's gonna be asking me for ice cream?
Yeah. We don't have
Get
sea
to the
breezes
point.
around here, damn it. Just give me what I want.
So let's see, which thing do we want to go to next? Oh, Sora, you're with me here, right?
Yes.
I have a new theme, which I just called "Make Sora Annoyed." Okay,
Uh-oh.
so
Okay.
I saw an ad for this place in Silicon Valley, and it's called the
Sora's gonna have to
Treehouse
drive down.
Hotels. And let's see if it loads. Okay. So this is something that they're opening up in Silicon Valley, in Sunnyvale, where there are rooms for your dreams, trust us, filled with unique, upcycled, artisan crafted furniture and natural materials. There's something to spark your natural curiosity at every turn. Make Treehouse your home base, and you'll be perfectly perched to explore everything from Silicon Valley's canopy redwoods to innovative attractions. This makes me want to just punch the wall. Upcycled?
Give him a moment. Let's
Upcycled?
look at
Really?
You got more
Yeah.
pictures?
Like there's old quilts on the wall and
Yeah.
probably
Yeah,
old
So
wood that's been
This
restored.
doesn't actually bother me as much as you think, because there's a ton of places here in Okanagan when
Mm-hmm.
you go for your winery tours and stuff, where there's one place that we stayed, my favorite place, where they basically do this. Like I slept on a pool table that was bolted down to a bookshelf. So I climbed up on top of a bookshelf, and then the bed was a pool table, and then they put a mattress on it, and it's fantastic. And all of their furniture was
What?
they basically cleaned and repurposed and made everything. I loved it. It's
What was
very
it?
quiche.
Was it designed by
Very-
MC Escher? Like how does that
It was,
how does
it was
that work?
comfortable. Like literally, like there was not much space between you and the ceiling, but it was wonderful, and it was all wood panels because it's the cottage style.
Functional and I are on this wavelength there.
Sounds incredible.
just
Like
wanna-
it could be
What the
true.
fuck is-
But I love this stuff. So now, would I ever want it in my home? Absolutely not. But
Yeah.
if you're going to go to a
Oh
bed and
my
breakfast, this
God.
is a bed and breakfast. If you
Mhm.
go to a bed and breakfast, this particular place, I don't know if it still exists, but if you wanted the honeymoon suite, it was literally a bedroom that it was in the middle of the property. It had a hot tub, and only the bed area was having like any sort of shelter. So you're basically
And
sleeping
it was
out
made
in the
out of a
open.
it was made out of pinball table.
Well, because I know how you feel about these upcycler
like-
people.
A pool table.
Oh, okay. There was a pool table. It was fantastic. I loved it. But so this, if you look at the picture, it looks like it's just pallets that.
Yeah.
So like every millennial who used to be like hipster had a pallet bed. Like I had a couple of friends with pallet, but this doesn't affect me. This is fine. The
It's
quilt
untreated.
thing up-
It's not painted wood painted with chalk paint to fill in the holes because you're a lazy bitch. It's not that.
That is what would kill me if that's what they had, because this is all the photos they're showing. If what they have similar to what Serenity is saying, where you're taking something that, regardless of its value, but it was solid wood,
Mhm.
that then they just Dixie Belle
Painted.
Paint, fucking hate. I don't even know that company, but I hope they go under. Like that's how much I hate the creators who use it on YouTube.
Yeah.
This just feels
Um,
very try hard to me.
Oh, yeah, but
That's what
absolutely
annoys me about it.
California.
Absolutely.
That being said, I like that room. I would stay there.
Yeah,
This
same.
is not
Yeah,
this
looks
is not
okay.
off-putting for me.
Okay.
My one issue
Sorry.
is that the outside looks like shipping containers. That would turn me off. Because if I'm going rustic, I want rustic. Stop being half-assing it. And
Oh
give me
God,
the
this web page makes me want to punch people again.
That makes me want to punch
yeah,
people.
that's stupid.
That
Jesus
makes me wanna
Christ.
punch people. But like, if you look at the mock-up of what the outside of the building looks like, it just looks like shipping containers. That
my
pisses me
God.
off.
Well, look, here's one.
Oh, they have them all over the
this
place.
Treehouse London.
Oh,
Treehouse
Manchester.
London.
Looking.
Oh, okay. So this is a brand.
But I
then
was
they're adding it
specifically
in.
talking about the one in Silicon Valley, which made me want to punch people in the face.
The way it's written
Oh.
is very pretentious. Roll your eyes. It's stupid, but
Yeah.
it's
It's a problem. But hey, I
Yeah.
have issues. We've already established this. Things enrage me that shouldn't. Fish, decorations, all sorts of stuff.
This is a themed hotel. It's like if you're going to go to, I don't know, Disneyland and their hotel rooms are all Mickey
Mhm.
Mouse themed or whatever they have. That's what this feels to me. The people who are going to be going to this place are going for the experience of whatever decoration they're going to do.
Yeah.
That's about as deep as it goes in its marketing. But I know what you're talking about. If just by the words that they use makes you want to throw something through a window, but
Their
I remember
interiors are-
Disneyland.
Their
This
interiors are beautiful.
is a little bit before my time, but I still actually remember when it was kind of like this. And you'd go to stay at the Disneyland Hotel, and you'd get on the monorail, and it would take you past all of this crap. So if you stayed at the Disneyland Hotel, you didn't have to do all the standing in line with all the proles to get into the park. You just take the monorail, because there was a monorail station in the hotel.
Oh god.
It was
oh,
great.
that's cool. Yeah,
It's like
that
early
would be nice.
2000s hipsters like threw up all over everything.
And look at that.
Still looks cool though.
Look at that. Oh, that's the check-in.
That's blinding.
That is mid-century beauty right there. That is just look at that.
Century something.
Look at her outfit. I want her outfit.
Orange and
Yeah,
pink.
baby.
There we go.
Look at that.
Is it a
Covered
Disneyland?
stairs for
I
activities.
think they turned the Disneyland Hotel into the Pixar
Awesome.
Hotel.
Yeah. This is about the time when I stayed there as a kid. Oh God, this is so great.
That's what the Contemporary still looks like on the inside of Disney World.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Hey, Jack and Rich.
I love Contemporary. I love the Contemporary.
Let's see, what is
think
this
they changed it
abomination? Yeah, no, there we go.
Oh my God.
Old-timey Disneyland.
Nice.
Pink is just such an offensive color.
I think the
I
I think the
help you?
camera's not doing it. I think it's because Disney doesn't like to do pink usually. They usually do fuchsia. So I think that's more of a fuchsia, but the camera's just not working with it.
But Skep's
Oh, no,
going to
it's-
remember this part. This is Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland.
And you can see the Bell Telephone
Why?
pavilion
Exhibit.
thing in the background, where you could learn about modern
That's-
things like push-button phones.
Push button phones, the princess phone. They
I
had
think
pink
that's-
princess phones there.
Yeah.
I think that's now Avengers Campus, if I remember right.
Yeah, I do not know. But it used to be fun. I mean, I like fun.
Oh yeah, there's the old pirate ship, and there's the skyboxes, and there's Matterhorn in the
Gondola.
background.
And this
Fireworm.
actually made me very
Oh, yeah, the
claustrophobic.
submarines.
I did
The
not like the
submarines.
submarine. It felt bad. Sorry, you get in this thing and it goes down underneath the water mostly, and it's a little claustrophobic.
Oh yeah, no, it's completely understandable because you're also in there with like 50 other people.
Smelly German tourists and that one Australian couple that can't stop necking.
Well, you used to get these ticket books that they'd give you, and they would say what the different tickets were good for. So you had different coupons. So it'll say, like, here's the attractions. Like, the A tickets are not, like, the really good ones. And so you go up to, like, D, and then, look, you can do some real stuff with the D ticket. But the coveted one was the E ticket.
E
Because you
ticket.
could go everywhere,
That's
yeah.
That's what you wanted right
So you
there.
can go to the Enchanted Tiki Room, Jungle
Oh,
Cruise.
I love the Tiki Room.
Oh, God, yeah, that's what it's all
I
about.
love the tiki room. But I've only ever been to Disney World, but I've looked at pictures and stuff like that from Disneyland.
Anyway,
So I'm
why
just
are we
like,
talking about this? Oh, because of
Because
the
you
hotel
pulled it up.
thing. Yeah.
They have
Okay.
apparently it looks like a hipster. Like I like it because I like the rustic country like fake appearance, but it looks like just like hipsters just threw all over everything of these.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at all the pictures of all the hotels that they have, because they only have Manchester in England, London, and Silicon Valley hotels right now, but they're going to open ones down in Australia. Because they were talking about that. But yeah, no, they look really sterile and austere from the outside until you get inside, then it looks like crazy hipster basement.
Well, let's talk about trains. Well, since we were talking about a monorail a second ago. So I posted this in the Discord. So apparently Germany's got an $11 billion rail project that is going about as poorly as the one in California. It's just a lot shorter. So instead of being like $130 billion, it's $11 billion that they've pretty much lit on fire.
How like, is it from Stuttgart? Where's it from to?
Oh, well, I can see they took it away now, so I have to log in. So I forget where it's to, but it's a fairly short piece of rail from Stuttgart to someplace else. And they've realized after the fact that maybe if they'd just taken what was there and tried to modernize it, it would have actually been a lot easier than trying to just glom this modern thing in the middle here. Just, it did not work out. And we've talked about the California thing, right? As I've said before, Trump administration blasts one California high-speed rail project, but praises another. Yeah, the stupid high-speed rail thing that's supposed to go from LA to San Francisco, I just don't think it's going to happen. It got a new lease on life when
according to Deutsche Bank, the total cost for the Stuttgart 21 project is now escalated to approximately 11 billion euros, well above the original estimate of 4.5 billion euros.
Yep.
The railway company argues the joint responsibility for these additional expenditures is implied within the original financial agreement. And so it goes, and it's all tied up in court.
Well, it was a rail hub that was supposed to be in the southwestern part of the city.
And that didn't work out. But the California thing that I really don't understand is even if it was only 30 billion or whatever the original number was, what is the financial case for building this train anyway? Can't think of what it is. It's like, what benefit to the taxpayers or to the people of California or to the government is there?
They'll stop using air travel.
Yeah, but I mean, put a dollar value on it.
Eat.
It's all just greenwashing, basically.
Yeah, it's all greenwashing.
Yeah,
Well,
it's like
it's everybody wants to be
100%.
Japan, but no one understands the societal contract that has to be signed to get stuff like what Japan has.
yeah,
right.
and the
It's-
Plus
politics.
the densely packed nature of
Well, it's not
Japan
even-
versus
it's-
versus the United States, where everything is spread way the fuck out. That
Well,
means there's a
Japan's-
whole lot of in
Japan's-
between.
Well, it's not
No,
even
Japan's a lot more like Denmark than it is like the United States.
yeah.
And
Well,
it works. And you're right, culturally, that cultural commonality makes a difference.
Well, that's the thing is like the reason why, and Japan doesn't live in the future no matter what people want to think, but it's the reason why they have the things they have, the reason why they can have the Shinkansen and all that kind of stuff is because it is part of their societal stance to take care of things. And you basically get shamed if you don't.
It's a shame culture. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the issue.
Absolutely
Or
right.
well, what was it? How did someone online put it? Someone put it, it's a face culture. It's saving face. So it's, you have to put a good face on for everybody, even if you're not. They're like, that's the reason why there's a suicide issue and everything like that. And that's the issue with Westerners don't, especially the idiots on the internet, don't understand is like the price you would have to pay to have what you want to have is not monetary. You would not want it because you could not have different hair colors. You could not dress how the way you want. A lot of times homosexuality isn't really accepted in most of those cases. Like, you could not live the way you want to live. You would be shamed and treated like garbage for it. Or you'd be ignored, which is worse in many cases. It's like, it's not something you actually want. You just have the delusions of it because you've watched too much of anime and all this kind of stuff and don't
Everything is
understand
glorified.
Yeah, it's why I
how
don't watch
much
anime.
it's a pain.
Hey, random.
Yeah. Oh,
So in this article about the California thing, the one thing is bad, one thing is good, I'd actually confused these things in my brain. That there's one train that they're talking about going from LA to San Francisco. That's the terrible one. But there's a privately built one that's being put together to go from LA to Las Vegas. And I thought, oh,
that one would be nice.
what the hell is that all about? And it turns out there's a private company called Brightline.
Brightline's down in Florida.
And
They've already built
Brightline
one
has
from Miami to
done
Orlando.
successful projects in lots of different places, apparently, like in Florida.
Yep.
And they They're doing it basically starting out with, this makes financial sense. We would like to do this. Government work with us to get us the right of way. Not government deciding, we think a green train would make us look really cool. And then we'll try to force the world to build this thing that nobody actually asked for. This is clearly something that people want, right? This is a thing that people
government
want.
sector constantly and without fail fails.
Yeah. And they're doing this with private money. And they're probably going to be quite successful with it.
Because there's purpose. It's not that there is a demand for it, but they're going to create the demand for it by building it, because their projections say, hey, people do want to go from point A to point B and sometimes to point C. So we'll create this loop that they can do that. And can we get that within a price point that they will rather do that than drive the car or take a short plane trip, especially with how bad modern air travel has become. There is a unseen tapped market for better train solutions. Just not going from New York to fucking LA. That's the dumbest thing. Like, who in government says, yeah, you know what we need? We need that line to go right across the country like that.
Yeah, that's just dumb.
There used to be a line the Amtrak line used to do that.
But honestly, going from LA to Vegas, that sounds like a good time. And it's going to cost $12 billion, and it's not taxpayer money. It's private money that's building this thing. And it will have to succeed or fail on its own. It's not some government boondoggle paid for by the taxpayers.
Well, it's like in Brightline, mostly it seems like they're just in Florida right now. But it's literally, they just do the coast of Orlando, West Palm Beach, Boca Raton, Fort Lauderdale, Ventura, and Miami. Is
it a loop or a line?
It's technically a line because it's back and forth.
Yeah.
They go up and go down. But like those are all because if you go to Orlando, that means if you get on a Brightline, you can stay in Orlando and then go to any of the ones without having to get on a plane, without having to go through TSA.
Exactly.
And you can just tick, and you're down. And that's what is nice because it's Florida. Because let's be honest, West Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale, and Miami and Orlando are the big touristy ones. Aventura and Boca Raton are where all the old Jews live. So it's like, we go visit Grandma and Grandpa, get on the damn train. Oy. Just like that's what it is.
So I want to talk about another train.
Go for it.
Oh, actually, we should do this first. No, we'll talk about another train first. So the same people who did the trip on the California Zephyr, it showed up in my feed. They also did a trip on the Orient Express.
Welcome on board the world's most...
We're talking like a serious thing. I knew it was opulent, but it's $9,000 for two people to make an overnight trip from Venice to Paris.
Yeah, it's not even that long of a trip. It's like nothing.
But you just eat and drink and just roll around in luxury. What?
Very European.
Yeah, very European. I thought you were going to tell me the sound was off because
no.
Intentionally it's off right now.
Oh, I know.
So this is the Jeb Brooks channel.
I watched him. Yeah.
And excuse me.
I can't even right now.
But this looks like kind of an amazing thing. Now at 6:29, let's see, they go into the bar car. And when I first saw this thing, I uncontrollably made a noise. This might be one of the prettiest things I've ever seen, like in terms of interior decoration.
Is that a jewelry car?
I'm curious to see what do you get for all that money, and we're about to find out because it's time for lunch.
We made our way out of our coach and through the bar car before we...
Oh my God!
Jesus Christ! I mean, I'm not like one of these people that's just like into luxury and high-end things all the time, but
this is worth it.
Holy
Harry,
crap!
You want to see one that's also really cool in the Eastern world?
Mm-hmm.
Look up 7 Stars Kyushu.
No, we'll do that. We'll do that next time.
Yeah.
I'll send me a note and we'll see about doing that for a future one.
I'll put it in.
But yeah, I mean, I know I'm doing a lot of train simping here, but holy cow, it's like this is like a bucket list kind of thing where you
that would be fun to
now
go
this dish that he's having here is basically a risotto what they call chicken oysters, and I had to think for a moment. Oh, you mean it's literally just around the perimeter?
Testicles.
It's the part of the chicken I like the best.
Yes. The four little oysters that come off the back.
Yeah, I'm.
Oh, the shoulder oysters. I thought I was thinking prairie oysters for some reason.
No, no,
like,
no, no, no.
Oyster testicles?
No.
Okay. Yeah, those are like succulent.
Yeah, lunch on the Orient Express. I mean, so it's lunch, it's dinner, it's just the whole. I'll stop in Verona.
24-hour trip.
Sure,
right?
why not?
Yeah.
But it's
Chicken
just,
testicles, you just have to eat some. Man.
I'm such a cheap person though. I'm like, God damn it, give me at least 2 days. Like I'm paying $9,000.
But I mean, this
me
kind
2
of
days.
this kind of food on a train, it's pretty impressive. They're able to pull this kind of stuff off.
It annoys me. He doesn't have a tie.
I know.
Later,
yeah.
when he goes to dinner, they claim that
it's probably because it's lunch. Sora. That's probably the reason why.
Doesn't matter.
dinner you can't be too formally dressed, is what they say. So let's see if we can get to the dinner. Oh, this is the high tea that
it
they
rubs me
have.
the wrong way. You see his undershirt. It annoys me.
Well, this is in their cabin. They basically get to have tea, and then they go to dinner.
Why
Yeah.
do women?
Why do women what, Skep?
Yeah, I was about to say, why do women what?
Why do women like to see men in ties? Women like to see men wearing neckties.
Same reason we like to look at cleavage.
Well, it shows responsibility
Okay.
because it shows you can tie a tie.
Yeah.
It shows the
No,
minimum
those
level
are
of
very
competence.
pretty. It looks more put together. Like
Yeah.
Okay.
he was wearing
Fair
a
enough.
button shirt
hmm
and a blazer.
Yeah, he looked unkempt. He looked unkempt.
He looked sloppy.
Yeah,
If
he did.
if he was wearing a sports coat, a polo,
Pretty good for a guy named Jeb,
something-
though, don't you think? You know, that's a very
Yeah,
schlumpy name, Jeb.
Well,
yeah.
I say the cleavage
his
thing
face is
flippantly,
irritating.
but I mean, in the essence of it's sending a message to a potential mate. Like in
Okay.
the example of a men, lizard brain,
think of it that way.
boobs, fertility, whatever. With women,
Yeah.
they see the tie, they see professionalism, intelligence, effort. They're putting effort into how they look without
Mhm.
being metrosexual, which is a huge modern delineation why a lot of women are rejecting men, is because they're going overboard with their beautification, and it's a power symbol,
Okay.
both virility and professionally to a lot. So they make fun of Trump because he wears a long dangly tie, and they're like, oh well, what is he like trying to cover for? It's that same kind of like mentality. Whether or not it's true, there's no studies on it, but there is that connection where people make that connection, whether intentionally, unintentionally, to insult or to attract.
They're just
I-
trying to signal affluence.
I doubt very seriously that Trump compensates for any perceived.
Yeah, he probably just likes tie. Like my favorite
self-
tie is a long, dangly, blue, sparkly one.
that's the
satin
thing.
tie.
He's comfortable with something.
That and my Spider-Man tie. My Spider-Man tie is the shit. It's got a glow-in-the-dark moon in the background.
I
It
like
looks really
ties.
good. It's not like a comic-y tie, but like when you look at it, you're like, oh, it's Spider-Man. Cool.
So one thing that he does do, Sora, which I know you'll like, is he intentionally goes and tries to film things when there aren't going to be people in the cars. So like he made arrangements to go in there and film this stuff because he tries really hard not to take pictures of people and be respectful of them. So he's being less of a douchebag than a lot of people are that are influencers, I think.
No, I appreciate that. I think that's very good. It
Yeah.
probably also protects them for not being kicked out.
Yeah, be a good guest
or
and then you'll get
blacklisted
invited
and
back.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just try to be a good guest. Anyway, the Orient Express is cool. It's,
It's on my bucket list. For me,
would
that
be
would be
cool.
worth it.
yeah.
I love this kind of
Honestly,
stuff.
yeah, I mean, what do you want to just, you can't spend it after you're dead. If you've got $9,000 extra dollars lying around, maybe go when it's when you can start out
Can't
in
give it to
Istanbul.
the poor.
Well, they run different routes at different times of the year. So it doesn't always start in Venice. It sometimes starts in Istanbul. So if you want a longer
Do
trip,
the full.
just go at a time of the year when it takes a longer route.
You should see the 7-star. I'm not a train guy, but even that one kind of gets me a little wet.
Okay.
Like just from the outside, the look of the train, it looks like something out of like a steampunky type future.
Yeah.
But it's just as opulent and extravagant on the inside. It's not general like that kind of stuff is not generally my cup of tea, but it's interesting to see what the whole hubbub, because in Western culture we always hear about murder on the Orient Express and the history of the Orient Express. So that's definitely a part of the $9,000 mistake that that people make, but it's part that, but also part of 24 hours of being pampered. Sounds good. Sure, I'll take it.
It's an experience. People pay money for various experiences. It's not like he's going up into space for 10 minutes to be weightless and then come back down for millions and millions of dollars. Yeah, but the opposite extreme of this would be this. There's an article in NPR where they're talking about modern day hobos, people who actually stow away on trains and do their thing. And I've seen a few of these people on YouTube where they're doing this. It's like, you can get, it's a teachable moment when they catch you still. Bad things can happen to you. They don't take it kindly when you stow away on trains, even in modern times. And
I mean, sure, you can die, but the real damage is being like horribly mutilated by having your arm ripped off or something.
This is a very, very illegal thing to do.
Oh yeah.
to ride around on these things. And I guess I get that it's cool and stuff. And they're talking about this one guy who's been doing it on and off for like decades, right? He's like some remote IT guy who is just riding the rails with his bindle and his portable modem or something. And it's just like, I don't know. I think it's almost irresponsible to present this way. They admit that it's illegal, but yeah, they're not nice to you when they catch you on these trains. They really, really don't like stowaways on trains.
The disruption to their service is huge because there has to be local investigations, police investigations, everything stops. So if they're transporting goods, that's millions of dollars just sitting there.
Yeah.
And these people, they have no respect for and like when I was younger, I tried to do this, but I learned my lesson.
Yeah. It's a terrible idea.
It's very bad.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in India, maybe they don't care. You just have 1,000 people hanging off the side of a rail car. But in the U.S., you get on a train that you're not supposed to be on, bad things are going to happen if they catch you. It's just not a good idea. So I think it's just some irresponsible journalism on the part of NPR there. There should be a giant disclaimer at the top saying, don't do this.
Well, they've spent both Canada and the United States have spent billions on train awareness education to say, don't do this. It's bad on all these levels. But also, you don't train hop on passenger cars.
No.
So the whole Indian thing, that's built by design, like to cram as many bodies onto those things. These are the train hoppers go on freight cars and other transport systems that, like I said, it's all just goods. There's no accountability for safety. You could be anything from like sharp metal, scrap metal, whatever, giant cars that are they're secure, but they still shift. Like I said, you can lose a limb easily by it just being crushed. And then you're not getting any medical attention for maybe ever because of that. And again, when there's accidents like these, it stops everything. It's just so irresponsible and selfish to do that
don't do that. And speaking of irresponsible things, I'm very pleased with myself. Under theme in the spreadsheet, I wrote the letter C, the letter U, space later.
Than they should be tonight. A copper wire theft is to blame. Thieves are stripping the wires from public lights, making them useless.
Again. And I really, people say, well, putting people in jail or threatening them with longer fines isn't going to stop them. I don't know. I'm willing to do that
Maybe
experiment.
We should try it.
Give jail a chance.
San Jose says it's taking a while to fix those lights because it's such a widespread problem. NBC Bay Area's Ian Cole explains what the city is now doing.
The street lights in John Liepelt's South San Jose neighborhood haven't worked for a while now. And to understand why, all you need to do is look at the base of each one. A broken utility box with exposed wires making the base.
It should not be that easy to steal all the copper out of a lamppost.
No, it shouldn't.
It really,
That's a bit much.
But it's creating work for the people in
of each light
city.
its own mini crime scene, full of evidence of someone stealing the copper wiring.
When this first started, it was just one or two around town. Now they're actually coming into the
Yeah, and they didn't go to jail, and now this.
neighborhoods and hitting an entire city block.
We counted 8 of them out on one street alone. Thieves steal
there's
the
a
copper
map.
and then sell it, and the damage they leave
if I can get to the
behind
map.
isn't cheap to fix. San Jose has launched an interactive map to show all the places where streetlights are dark due to stolen wire. Of the city's 65,000 streetlights, crews have had to fix 650 of them since last summer. Those are the green dots. But there's over 750 still in pink, meaning they need to be repaired.
We've had some light.
This is just, this is why we can't have nice things. I mean, I don't expect America to go full Japan, but it isn't just here. It's also happening further down on the Central Coast. So they're doing it in Salinas, and I heard they're doing it in Monterey and Seaside and lots of different places. It's the same goddamn problem happening like everywhere.
It's not as widespread up here and in Montreal, but it is happening. It is increasing in frequency, and it's not so much the power lines because most of that's underground and packed away. It's the traffic cameras. They're going after the parts of the traffic cameras, which is that really such a bad thing? I know it's costing millions of taxpayer dollars for something that really shouldn't exist in the first place. So kind of torn.
Yeah, I know how you feel.
Lights are essential. Like, fuck off. Stop breaking the lights, assholes. But the traffic cameras, go after the traffic cameras, please.
Look at that, the Japanese food noodle channel. That sounds exciting. Now, we're not going to look at that because that would be wrong.
Why not?
If genies were Southern, oh yeah, it's a Southern
They're
thing. I
so
love that
efficient that all these like great little Japanese stalls and food carts and everything, they sell out exactly the same amount of food every day.
Yeah.
It is crazy how efficient they are.
Well, while we are on the Central Coast, little education news here for you.
Ooh.
Oh wait, is everybody here? Yeah, everybody's here. Okay.
No.
This is a palate cleanser. So let me see. Where's education? So many things.
Always in the mood for a palate cleanser.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a palate cleanser. It's also kind of sad that people are stupid enough.
Salinas high school math teacher on leave and under investigation, accused of trying to sell pills to his students.
And I'm getting these messages from my daughter that her teacher is selling drugs in classroom to enhance homework and test performance. And I thought maybe she's taking it out of context. This is appalling. There's no way a teacher's doing this.
This mother, whose identity we're not revealing because her child is in the math class, started getting text messages from her child last week. The messages read, homework enhancing pills, $5. Test enhancing pills, $25. And that the kids should take 15 a week. When the student asked what's in them, the teacher apparently said, it's a secret.
It's a secret formula.
So,
our little secret.
So it turns out all I've been able to determine is it's a dude and he's a math teacher. And I think he just decided to go for full top keck and just...
And
did the math and said, hey.
These kids, what?
It feels like a joke that kind of got out of hand.
Probably
what is
placebo.
What is the drug? They're
not quite sure. There's an ongoing investigation about this thing, but because of the teachers' union, I guess he went back to work on Friday.
Yeah, he's protected because of the teachers' union.
The classic study enhancer is Dexedrine.
Yeah.
It's probably just sugar.
I remember taking that in high school. But yeah, no, I agree with you, Serenity. They're probably just placebo sugar pills where he's a math teacher. He's done the math. He goes, look, I can sell them these sugar pills and I can up their grade when they pay me to up their grade.
Basically, I'm this
but
way.
Using it under the obfuscation. Oh no, these are actually doing something to help you study.
To the kids, but then
they're just selling grades.
Well, that's the thing. But to the kids, but then when it gets to the parents, it'd be like, oh, there wasn't anything actually in it. They were in no danger. I was just selling them fake stuff.
Yeah, I don't think it's an actual real pill, from what I've been able to determine. But I think he was just bored. Sure.
I think he wanted to get paid off.
You caveat emptor, folks.
I can understand the need to deal with boredom. Just don't fuck with the kids. Don't fuck with the kids.
Well, it's just-
Please stop fucking with kids.
Maybe it'd be like a teachable moment, and then at the end of the year, he'd just give them back their money and just say, "You're an idiot. Don't let anybody ever do this to
They
you."
were kickbacks the whole time.
Yeah.
That is not what this was about.
Maybe he just thought that they needed fresher breath or something. I don't know. I mean,
Oh, they were Tic Tacs.
When I find out what's going on, I will let you know. But so far,
that's what I want to find out.
They're still investigating.
What were they, if they were anything?
So we talked about Reason. I think it was some libertarian thing. Somehow Reason magazine came up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did a thing this week where it's
How
titled.
many times do you think I could get drunk at work before I got fired? Because if I were in the teachers union at Bay City Schools in Michigan, I could be at school drunk 5 times, I could be on drugs 3 times, and I could even make or sell illegal drugs twice before losing my job.
Sounds about right.
Jesus. That's a strong union contract.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. She's got a Fairnet sweatshirt. That's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, I mean, this is a good example. I mean, in a short, I think the guys at Reason are making a pretty good point in a fairly time-efficient sort of way. Because I didn't realize, I mean, I knew it was bad, but I didn't know it was this bad.
Oh yeah, all the teachers unions have those kind of rules written into them, depending on the severity of the county of which they are in.
Like, I can be... Yeah. No.
My grandmother was part of the teachers union for 35 years. I've seen some shit.
Yeah, I guess.
I'll bet you have. I'll bet you really have.
Well, I mean, that might explain why the guy's back at work at the high school, the one who was allegedly pushing the fake drugs to the gullible kids.
Yeah, because he knows nothing's going to happen to him.
Pop
Serenity,
quiz.
my eldest sister is.
But
is
before
still-
that,
I want to know if
she's
they
a
were
principal
fake.
now. So I've heard some of the stories, but she looks at it all with rose tinted glasses.
Oh,
And so when I hear stories in the news, whatever, the problem is up here, the teachers' unions are so embedded with political power
Oh, down
that
here too,
the
bud.
politicians are afraid of them
They're not afraid of him.
and they don't push back. Like, oh my God. And I bought into their shit when I was a teenager, and there was the one big 1991 and 92 somewhere, big strike that went on for like 4 or 5 months. And they had the government by the cojones, both the provincial and the federal government, and they did not let go. And it is come to fruition in the modern day because they have so much political power. It's terrifying.
Now, if only they would have used that power for good.
For good, yeah. But instead, they did it to line their pockets instead of educating the kids. And now, you have them all of them now being on the side of transing the kids and being inclusive and this and that. And it's just like, oh, God.
okay, I've got some serious topics, and I think we can do this in fairly short order because we're not trying to solve the entire Palestinian problem. Okay,
Have the fun.
This is just a little something. It's just me being annoyed by something again. So it says Israel delays release of Palestinian prisoners, citing humiliating handover of hostages. Well, again, the AP has changed the title since I put this in
Because
the
wasn't it
spreadsheet.
talking about it handed over the wrong?
Because what it was supposed to say, the title was originally Hamas frees 6 hostages, but questions cloud Gaza's ceasefire future. And in this article, essentially, it was a prisoner swap, but they were referring to it as freeing prisoners. Don't you think there should be a different word for it? Like, freeing prisoners means you're letting them go, you're returning them.
Hostage.
But if you're doing a swap, a prisoner swap, meaning that Hamas people who are in jail are being swapped for their prisoners, it feels like freeing is the wrong word. This seems like AP spin to me.
Well, considering the fact that the discrepancy of number between the two, because I think it was like 6 Israelis were getting returned and like 600 Palestinians were getting freed.
And a lot of these Hamas members, especially the lower level guys, they don't want to go back.
Yeah.
They're actually happy to have 3 hots and a cot in an Israeli prison, as opposed to going back to shitholes where they have to become a martyr again.
Yep.
Yeah, nobody
Because
wants that.
It's actually very few people who, on the side of Hamas and these other groups, who are actually believers in this stuff, a lot of them are just people who are too afraid and too powerless to do anything about it aside from go through the motions. And that's the part that breaks my heart, because like you try to talk to some of these people online. I know Skep does too. And it's some of the people who support these people. And it's just like, bro, have you even talked to any of these people?
Yeah.
Well, it's also the
Do you know that they don't want to do this, but they're forced at the barrel of a gun, literally and figuratively, with their whole families, same treatment. If they don't take this package to that place and set off a bomb and just pray that they die so that their families will be freed. Or
do it, or we're throwing your sister off this roof.
Yeah,
They're lucky if the sister gets thrown off the roof.
Stomping your infant children in front of you.
Right.
Like, it's vile stuff.
Well, this has been happening in Africa for decades at this point, because the same thing gets pulled in Africa all the time. Yeah. And it's like, because I remember, good dang it, mucus in my throat. But I remember back when the big thing that everybody gave a shit about was Africa. And it's like, nobody cares about Africa anymore because they can all focus on Palestine and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, guys, you don't understand what it's actually like to live there.
All cultures are equal. All cultures are beautiful. None are any better than any others. And
that's why everybody wants
it's just hubris on my part to claim that the U.S. is better than Great Britain. And God forbid claim we're better than Africa.
Well, yeah, but it's like the stupid crap that is trying now, because you can tell when certain governments are paying people to say stuff online.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the big things that was going on recently is about every 3 to 5 years on social media, there's the big push for, they never try to push America to do it. They try to push the British Museum to do it, is to return, air quotes, return stuff to Egypt.
Nope.
And Middle East and stuff like that. And it's like, dude, we all know what's going to happen if it goes back, because it's not Islam. It's going to get destroyed. Fuck you. But they never try to force America. They never try to force America to do it.
At the very least, we'll just hang on to this until you grow up into a proper civilization.
Yeah, until you behave yourselves. We're not giving you anything back.
Because we can't trust you with nice things just yet.
I do believe that this specific situation where we, Western powers, are letting them get away with this because it's theater. We're going to let them get away with this theater because now we have all these little tracking eyes in the skies. We don't need to see their fucking faces. We can tell exactly where each one of these bodies disappears to, what buildings or tunnels they go into, and we're tracking them. Mark my words, within a year, there will be surgical special forces strikes to take out a lot of these guys, ISIS leaders, ISIL leaders, like a lot of these people who are coming out of their anthills to celebrate this kind of stuff that's been going on since October 7th. Mark my words, once they can account for every single one of these hostages, or enough to make it what's the word I'm looking for, Sun Tzu, the acceptable losses thing.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think Iran is going to do? Iran has lost their proxy in both Syria and
Syria was the big one,
and southern Lebanon too. They don't really have any org structure in southern Lebanon, and Israel is just basically going house to house and destroying the stored munitions. In situ sometimes.
Well,
to the dismay of the homeowners.
Unfortunately, what's probably going to happen is the Islamo-fascists are going to stranglehold and probably self-destruct.
Well,
in that kind of sense,
is
they're
not getting any money. They're not
exactly
getting any more money.
What I'm hoping for is that they basically just cut and run, Skep, and try to go away, and then that will allow for Iran to go back to Russia. Well, there's other places that they can hide out. Saudi Arabia,
Pakistan,
Dubai. Like they can go and they can just disappear and wipe their hands, air quotes, clean of all of their wrongdoings. But because people will look at Iran, and Iran will probably, hopefully, like crossing all fingers and toes for this one to be what happens, is that when they cut and run, the people will take power back, and they will become more of a democratic state, and that will go back to 1970s Iran before the CIA and MotZ installed the fucking or fucked around, and then Iran found out and decided to install the Ayatollah. Like, I can't put full blame on them because I understood what the CIA and Mossad were trying to do, but they ended up fucking it so bad and not taking responsibility for their part in what happened. It really pisses me off because I don't want to hate our own people, but when you do something bad, you gotta own up to it. Like this Muppet here.
Well, I mean, the reason why Iran did all of it in the first place is because Saudi Arabia and Israel are in talks to have a trade deal that would make them the two most richest countries in the Middle East, even more than what they already are.
Yeah, and
that's
sorry,
the reason why they attacked.
In reference to Skep's comment about the money, that is why they would go to a more modern democratic system, is because they want to start producing. They want to start being a producer so they can trade. And with those Islamo-fascists in complete power, that's never going to happen because they will never trade with the Jew. They will never trade with the kafir. They will never trade outside of their own. And that's not going to be a recipe. Well, I mean, we've seen it play out. They don't have anything to trade.
No, they have irreconcilable differences.
However, the Iranian people are very nice people. A lot of the ones who were able to escape to places like here are fantastic fucking people.
Yep.
And they were lucky enough to get out when the writing started being plastered all over the wall. And they want nothing more than to live next to their white and Jewish and brown and yellow and red neighbors and live in peace and trade with one another because they see the prosperity that it can bring even the lowliest peasant into...
They're getting less and less popular and more controversial inside Iran. Last week, the mullahs, the people in charge of the religious part of the government, put out a blurb saying that any of the chief imams were to go out with security details, that they were not to go out in public unescorted, and there were lots of pictures of them going around with these thugs, surrounded by thugs. So that's what it takes.
Because young people, young men and women will literally mob them and try to kill them.
They'll fucking kill them. They absolutely will.
They've got nothing left to lose anymore, Skep. They've seen what their cousins have done when they fled and how the prosperity that they've had and the shit that they've been living under. Thank you to the internet. They've waken up as a populace, and the old people are like, you know what? I'm too old, but I support all you kids. And if you guys do something, we'll have your backs every step of the way. But we're too old to start this.
But
I really feel that with a lot of the people I talk to online from Iran.
Some of those old people remember what the 1970s were like.
Exactly.
You know,
where women were just as free as their American counterparts.
It was a modern culture.
You'd think you were waiting to get into Disneyland.
It was the only other one next to Israel.
Yeah, really, truly.
In a sea of covered letterboxes.
So, Skep, I think that the Iranians had a much easier time of it when they could do the whole 1984 thing by perpetually having an external enemy. Things were great for them when they had Iraq, because Iraq made a fantastic distractor. Find somebody troublesome, throw them in the army, and just throw them like cannon fodder at the Iraqis.
Yeah.
That was a terrible war. And it was fairly obvious that the Iranians did not give a shit about their people.
No.
The Iranian government viewed all those people as being expendable.
They really did. They sent these kids up. They just died by the hundreds.
They just sent them into the meat grinder. And it was absolutely terrible what they did. But anyway, I assume you've heard about the whole thing with the Abramopotamus this week, right, Skep?
I actually have not. I have been paying. Paying attention.
You are in for such a treat then. Okay.
Oh, great.
The Washington Free Beacon reported Wednesday that Doge found $2 billion set aside by Biden's EPA as a grant to power forward communities, which is linked to Democratic activist and former Georgia State Representative Stacey Abrams and future president of Earth.
To imagine my shock.
Yeah, and so a year before, and was it 2023, they had $100 in the bank just to make it legal. And then on the way out, essentially in 2024, they decided to funnel $2 billion into this and a group of other similar entities that vouch for each other, like this House of Cards.
Sure.
It's just shell games and redirects and
Absolutely.
and it's not really clear what any of this EPA money is going to do for anybody except for Stacey Abrams and her cronies.
That's all that is. Just a money pump. All this is a cash pump.
Yeah. The grant was awarded in April 2024 through the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund program under the EPA.
Yeah. I'm sure many witless papers will be produced. Papers that will never be read by anyone.
No.
Not even the author will read them.
Yeah.
What were you going to say,
It'll all be created by AI.
Let Serenity talk.
Howard Ford Communities helps fund Habitat for Humanity and United Way and stuff like that, and Rewiring America. They're not papers. They're allegedly there to help build for people who have low income or who are in bad straits.
According to the article, it said it was founded a few months prior to receiving the grant.
I know, but the thing is, they're associated with Habitat for Humanity, Rewiring America, United Way, the LISC, stuff like that, which is allegedly supposed to help build more greenhouses for people who are lower income, who need financial assistance and that stuff. That's what it's allegedly for.
Allegedly.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a good cover for these shell games because then you can have the talking head chuckle fucks on Twitter and whatever saying, "Oh, but USAID does this is good and this is good." Yeah, but that's a drop in the bucket compared to the amount of money laundering that is going on. That Habitat for Humanity, great. The good that the Red Cross does, great. It's all the rest of the stuff that they do that is fucking evil.
Yeah.
That supplies terrorists like Hamas and buys media companies here to censor and promote propaganda.
But at least it's just my statement was it wasn't about making papers. It was just about putting money into stuff. I personally, Rewiring America, at least in my neck of the woods, has done a lot of stuff. Now, whether they would actually see any of that money, we all know. But it's like the companies that they were using as cover, let me put it that way, that it was attached to are legit. At least the 4 I know, because I've worked with all 4 of them.
No, that's good. But Serenity, if you've got $2 billion to supposedly, what they say, to transform the marketplace for heat pumps, heat pump water heaters, induction stoves, solar panels, home battery systems, EV chargers, and wiring and weatherization upgrades. You've got $2 billion, and you've got 300 and something million people in this country. And you go, out of all of them, I think that Stacey Abrams is the right person to hand out all this money.
Well, the thing is she actually the direct one handing out the money, or is it just something she's attached to?
It's so corrupt.
I don't know about
there's
the whole...
a lot of politicians attached to a lot of stuff. Just because they're
I believe she controls the accounts that the money gets.
Then that's the thing. Like if she legit controls the accounts, absolutely.
That was the big accusation of fraud, is because she literally had the control over these accounts. I could be wrong, but I mean that's how I understood it from the articles that I read, and who knows.
Let's just say the optics are poor.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But she's also an unelected person.
Official. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she's not even official because she's just unelected. She's just a person that they've also the is it the DSA or whatever? They've been funneling money into her campaign coffers so that she could win Georgia, but never did because she's a pathetic human being.
I do have to wonder, and I'm going to get real dirty here for about 5 seconds. whose flagpole did she have to go up and down of to get like this level of?
I really appreciate you giving the idea putting the idea in my head of Stacey Abrams working the pole. That's
damn right.
Thank you for that.
But it's the truth of the matter. It's like it's her. It's Camel Toe. It's like I understand that sex is really easy. It's really easy to use sex to control some men. Most of you aren't that stupid. So it's like
Ashley Sinclair.
Oh yeah, we are. Yeah, we are.
Not from these bitches. Not from these bitches. Like if they were like Pamela Anderson in her prime, I could understand. Not from Hippopotamus. No. Like you have
on
to
a
be
lonely,
desperate.
lonesome highway
Apparently.
east of east of Omaha. You can listen to the engines moaning.
Yeah.
About this one-note song. You'd think about the woman. Yeah, turn the page.
I'm really afraid of where this is going. I feel like I need to change direction.
But hold on. Because Serenity does have a point.
She made several good points.
As dumb as she, hold on, but as dumb as she is, and how useless she's become, Kamala Harris was a relatively attractive young lady in her prime.
Yeah.
The Abramopotamus has never even remotely come close to that. So it is a wonder for the ages.
Yeah, I mean, Kamala Harris's appearance is really something that I feel totally comfortable commenting on. But she definitely was. I mean, she's not an unattractive woman at all.
Yeah, but the thing is, Kamala Harris. I'm gonna be. Oh God, I'm gonna get canceled. Kamala Harris followed the rule of the ancient rules and laws of the black woman who does a little side dancing.
I don't know what this law is.
Just
you're
go with
referring
me.
to.
Just go with me.
Okay.
Just go with me.
Okay, I disavow.
When she was younger, she was a little freak on the streets. But when she got older, she married the white man who already had a kid with someone else. That's the rules of the streets when it comes to the darker skinned ladies. You do the crazy stuff with the dude. Like, there's so many. Like there's so many guys I went to high school
their
with.
Own internal baked racism.
Yeah, we're
disavows any stereotype.
But it's very well, and I can be a racist little piece of shit. I'm from West Virginia. Hey. But it's that thing of like growing up. I noticed a lot of that where it was like they were with the fellow darker than a cafe au lait skin tone people, and then when they got older, they always found the older white guy who was a few years older than them. Usually already had kids, already divorced once, and latched on. And Kamala followed that rule.
Well, this has been your final episode of Minions of the Zoo.
Damn right. Here we go. Woo!
Thank you, pals.
Let's nuke this channel.
All right. Let's see.
So long. Thanks for all the fish.
Elizabeth Holmes, my nemesis, breaks her silence in first interview from prison. It's been hell and torture. Let me give you the précis of this. She does not like being in jail. And not only does she not like being in jail, but she's going full OJ by basically claiming that she's still innocent and she did absolutely nothing wrong.
Is she going to go out and hunt for the real killers?
Yeah, I thought I highlighted something. Why is it not showing up?
Did she have her kid? Her second kid?
Yeah, she had her kid.
Yeah, okay.
And she went to jail. And God, this article's long. Where's the part I highlighted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's going to be until 27
and 32, and she's going to show up about the same time as the asteroid.
Okay.
Woo!
And despite her global reputation as a biotech con artist who puts lives at risk, she says she's continuing to write patents for new inventions and plans to resume her career in healthcare technology after her release.
Okay, I'm going to say something else really controversial. Here we go. She looks more... No, let me rephrase this. She looks less female now than she did before she went in.
Well, you know.
Does she still have the deep voice?
God, I hope not.
Well, yeah. That's why Serenity, because in prison she's the daddy.
Yeah. There is not a day I have not continued to work on my research and inventions, she says. I remain completely committed to my dream of making affordable healthcare solutions available to everyone. The only thing that's missing is her writing a fictional book called If I Did It, describing how she would have committed the crime she was convicted of. That's how close she is to OJ at this point.
No, the book is actually how she would have killed Ron Cato Kalin and
Ron Goldman.
Ron Goldman. Not Cato Kalin. Ron Goldman and
Cato Kalin was the couch surfer guy who was in the bungalow.
Nicole Brown.
Nicole Brown Simpson, yeah.
Yeah. But how Elizabeth Holmes would have committed those murders, even though she totally didn't do those murders, you guys.
Yeah. But yeah, so she's in prison. She's going to come out on 2032, right before we all get killed by that asteroid.
Whatever city she's going to is probably the one the asteroid will hit.
Yeah.
That's her what do they call it when the court sentences you? That's her sentence. I believe there's a 4 or 5 year shave off they can do for good behavior and all that jazz. If the parole board finds that she's reformed. That's why I said 2027, because the earliest that she could potentially be released is that, and that is what infuriated me about this, because that's still not long enough.
Yeah, she has been teaching the other prisoners how to speak French. So,
oh boy!
Yeah.
Sacre bleu.
Useful.
Yeah. Hey, well, I mean, we'll have to have hobbies, right?
A way to talk to each other in a language the guards don't speak. That's really useful in a prison. That's a
doesn't
great
make
idea.
anybody paranoid or anything like that. No.
No.
Jesus Christ.
Especially on the wrong side of the country from where the French colonies are.
Okay.
The only thing I have to say is that thank God her and Martha were not in jail at the same time.
Oh no.
Can you imagine that hell?
Martha would have shivved her.
Oh, Snoop would have become like General Zod. Like
yeah.
Snoop would have taken full advantage of that, had his bitches on both arms, and they would have taken over the world. We don't have Superman.
We got Snoop.
All right.
Superman.
So I've got a couple AI fails for us here, which I found to be kind of amusing. So there are some things that AI still doesn't do a particularly good job of. There's diving.
Oh God. The eyes already don't look right. The eyes
yeah,
don't look
it's
right.
the shifting behind the skin.
Oh God.
What?
No.
Good job, AI.
It's like some alien shit.
Oh
yeah, it's the shifting of the skin.
Oh Jesus.
This is on the AI Fails and Fun channel.
Oh!
Oh, look, they're dolphins.
Yeah, they seem to be attributing marine mammal movements to human divers, which is hilarious.
Oh!
Because when whales do that little hop that they do, especially the blue whales, they do that thing where they sit at the top for just a fraction of a moment and they flap their tail to stay like below. What the hell?
Oh God.
Okay, well,
I want the aliens to see this and then like copy it, because they think that's how humans are, and then they show up and we're all like, bitch, no.
Like that episode of Star Trek.
Guy's arms.
Like the first episode of Star Trek. Yeah. Aliens put me together like this because they had never seen somebody, so they decided to make me asymmetric. Yeah, that's totally what aliens would do. Yeah, idiot.
Hey man, you
Look
never
at
know.
Purple Guy's arms. It's like that one scene from Monty Python. I have a fish.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that face.
Oh God.
Okay, this is 50 Shades of Wrong. Okay, how about the Great American Coffee Break?
What is what the fuck?
This is the office coffee break.
This is terrifying. Oh my God.
It's like a fever dream.
We should stop letting AI see advertisements. No, I'm serious. I like.
Oh,
oh Jesus Christ!
Someone showed it porn. Someone showed it porn. I don't want to know who showed it porn. But someone showed it.
That's some good coffee.
I'm just waiting for the guy who's
coffee.
both drinking coffee while vomiting coffee. Oh Jesus! Stacey Abrams.
Yeah. I'm so happy there's coffee.
Put the link to this. And it's amazing.
I love just like the movements because it doesn't.
It's like
match.
completely off.
Yeah.
When coffee breaks go too far.
There he is. I knew somebody was gonna be vomiting.
I was going to say someone's getting a coffee enema.
Is that David Hogg?
I don't
getting
know.
the coffee enema? Is that what?
Everything? I mean, all the motions are so lifelike.
Oh my God! And speaking of, what's her name? Aiden Paladin did a head swap where she tilted the shape of David Hogg's head, flipped it around, and then put his face back on. So he's got this like Amish beard. It looks freakishly really good. Like as far as David Hogg could look good, but he looks more human than alien is what I'm trying to say.
Well, we've got some space stuff, but that'll wait till next week. Is there anything else we need to cover now?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else we have to cover right now.
Right meow?
Yeah. Right now. I think we're okay. We've made fun of Australia.
Which is always good.
Oh, you really need one more thing, don't you? I mean, you want to be, you like nice things, right? Okay. So I found
Depends
this.
if it's actually nice.
I found this right before the show. And this is what things like why I like the English. And I admit I'm a bit of an Anglophile, even though their government pisses me off. So this is a thing called Letters Live.
Oh yeah, this is awesome. I've watched a bunch of their different ones. They're really good.
This is fantastic. And this is Matt Berry, the guy from the IT Crowd, and God, what else was he in?
The Shadows.
Oh yeah, What We Do in the Shadows, and before that he was in Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, which I still
white
recommend.
Guy with the longer hair and beard.
Right.
And Peter Capaldi, and this is from a few years ago, and this is a fire exchange of letters, and I don't know if we get copy struck, I can just use AI to take it out at the end, but we should be fine. I'll stop it a couple times.
Banana.
As the Sultan, son of Muhammad, brother of the sun and moon, grandson and viceroy of God, ruler of the kingdoms of Macedonia, Babylon, Jerusalem,
Capaldi's
Upper
response is
and Lower
great.
Egypt, emperor of emperors, sovereign of sovereigns, extraordinary knight, never defeated, steadfast guardian of the tomb of Jesus Christ, trustee chosen by God himself, the hope and comfort of Muslims, and great defender of the Christians. I command you, the Zaporovian Cossacks, to submit to me voluntarily and without any resistance, and to desist from troubling me with your attacks.
No. Yeah, I gotta pause it. Banana.
Sorry, I just had to cough there for a moment.
What year was this?
I think 2016.
Oh, a year ago. Okay.
No, 2016. This is published a year ago from 2016.
Right. Okay.
Oh, this is Sultan of the Ottoman Empire going against the Cossacks. Yeah. Because the Cossacks did not pull back.
Sultan. Sultan.
Sultan is
Turkish devil. And damned devil's kith and kin, secretary to Lucifer himself. What kind of knight are you, huh? You can't slay a hedgehog with your naked ass. You know what? The devil shits in your army, eats it. You will not. You will not, you son of a bitch, make subjects of Christian sons. We've no fear of your army. By land and by sea, we will battle thee and fuck your mother. You Babylonian scullion. You Macedonian wheelwright. You're a brewer of Jerusalem. You're a goat fucker of Alexandria.
I used that one
fucker of Alexandria. So beautiful.
Today on Twitter.
I'm head of Greater and Lesser Egypt. Pig!
They hate being called pigs.
Oh, yeah.
Of Armenia. Podolian thief, Catamite of Tartary. Hangman of Canaanites, and fool of all the world and underworld, an idiot before God, grandson of the serpent, and the crickener dick. Dick-snack, mare's ass, butcher's dog, unchristened brow, screw your own mother. So the Zaporozhians declare, you lowlife. You won't even be herding pigs for the Christians. Now we'll conclude. For we don't know the date, and we don't own a calendar. The moon's in the sky, the year with the Lord. The day's the same over here as it is over there. And for this, kiss our ass.
It's pretty great.
Well, and the thing that makes it even funnier is that that first letter was what was sent after they had lost the
Ottomans.
Yeah, and after they had and he was trying to say, yeah, no, just give it up to me because we're gonna do it again, and they're like, no, fuck you. That's the thing that makes
it's hard. It's hard. It was hard to like when they lost. They lost spectacular the Ottomans, and it was hard for anybody to take them seriously because once you as a defender or a counterattack circumvented their mass blob, because that's basically their biggest power was the fact that they just had so many people, so many horse, elephants, like just bodies traipsing towards a rather small nation state. If you could somehow circumvent that, they were pathetic. They could not defend their nation, their borders that they were ever expanding on every front. So once they were handed a spectacular defeat in, say, the southwestern region, like everybody just walked back in and said, okay, so we're taking our land back. And the Ottomans were like, bet. And they're like, no, fuck off.
The reason, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is how in 1675 the Ottoman Empire began to fall.
And I'm putting the link to the channel in the chat. So anybody who's interested.
Some of them are really, really good. Most of the ones Stephen Fry does are amazing.
I mean, there's some lefty bullshit here because there's lefty idiots occasionally. This one is pretty epic. Just a little sample. Man reads a husband's plea to his wife about their intimate relations.
To my ever-loving wife, during the last year, I have attempted to make love to you 365 times. I succeeded 36 times.
Oh!
This averages once every 10 days. And the following is a list of reasons why I did not succeed. We will wake your mother.
Probably.
7 times. It's too hot. 15 times. It's too cold. 3 times. I'm too tired. 19 times. It's too late. 16 times. It's too early. 9 times.
You get that general idea. It's good fun. And this is why I don't give up on the English, because I really do like the English. I like many things English. I'm culturally English. I like so many things, and it just sickens me that they've just turned into they just like oppressing themselves so much. It's absolutely astonishing. But
they decided they want to be Islam majority.
We're all in a good mood now, so no sense in me dragging us down here at the end. So this has been your Minions of the Zoo for Saturday. Thank you, panel. Thank you, chat. The zoo is very much and thoroughly closed. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Au revoir.